my gosh, what a belter of a game. Oh my gosh, what an absolute belter. Oh, okay, well, that's telling you right now the scenes that we've got. That light just went out, so I've got to put that back on. Give me 1 second here, ladies and gentlemen, as I sort this out. That's back on charge. That is back on, and we're on for a belter of a game. What an absolutely amazing start to this one. Hey guys, how you going? So now BKRsport, we are live as the St George Illawarra Dragons will be taking on the Manly Sea Eagles in one where, look, it's not the most enticing of matchups, let's be honest with you. Yes, it's not the most exhilarating of games that you would be just absolutely dying for. We might die during the game. That is an entire possibility, yeah, because the Dragons, they have not won a game so far this season, and the team they're playing until last week had not won a game so far this season. So it is 17th versus 12th, but the only reason that Manly are in 12th is also because they've had the bye. Otherwise, they would still be in the bottom four. They would actually be in fourth last, but they'd be equal second last as well. But you know what? They got the bye. They take the 2 points. They're not complaining about it, son. They're not doing it. The Dragons, they wouldn't mind a bye right now. They wouldn't mind getting the 2 free points. That is for sure. But this game starts in about half an hour's time, guys, so we're going to do a whipping old preview for this game. Later on today, we'll be live as the Brisbane Broncos take on the North Queensland Cowboys up at Suncorp Stadium. This game's at Wollongong. Let's smash it out. So obviously hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are for today's game. Now, the Dragons, they come into this game from 17th position, Manly from 12th, and this is at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong. The ins for the Dragons, Cade Reid, Carl Flanagan, Matthew Fionney, and Setu 2, with the outs being Clint Gutherson, David Fale, Jacob Halangahu, and Lycan King Tagia. The fullback is Tyrell Sloan, with the wingers being Christian Tuipulotu and Setu 2, centres of Moses Sully and Valentine Holmes. You go to the 5'8", Daniel Atkinson, with the halfback being Carl Flanagan. The front row forwards are Emre Gula and Toby Couchman, with the number 9 being Damien Cook, who is the captain. Then you go to the back row, Lucha Leilua and Jaden Sewer, with the 13 being Hamish Stewart, interchange of Jacob Little, Blake Laurie, Josh Kerr, Hame Sele, Cade Reid, and Matthew Fionney, with the coach being Shane Flanagan. Dragons, we rely upon you. The NRL fans, we are now at your mercy because you are the only team that has not won a game yet. We have seen every single team lose, as we saw last night. The fraud alert is on the Panthers after a loss to the Bulldogs. Bulldogs obviously shoot up to 5th now, but fraud alert central right there. So that means every single team has had a loss. And Dragons, you got the most of them. But we haven't seen every team win a game yet. So, Dragons, we're at your mercy. You need to win this game. You need to get off the mark. You're at the gong. Should be a beautiful day. It says good weather here on the NRL.com, but then again, this doesn't always give you a great reading for the old weather. It's not weather NRL.com. It is NRL.com. So sometimes that is incorrect. But if it's a beautiful day in the gong, amazing little stadium there, you got to fire up. You've changed around your team a little bit. Obviously, Gutho is out with an injury for the next 4 or so weeks due to a hammy. So Tyrell Sloan comes into the fullback. You've put Carl Flanagan into the 7, Daniel Atkinson into the 6. I will put my hand up and say that I originally, pre-season, thought it was a better idea to put Daniel Atkinson into the 6. Daniel Atkinson into the 7, and I knew that they were going to put Carl Flanagan in, so Carl Flanagan into the 6. That hasn't worked out, and we knew that after pretty much 1 game, maybe even 2 games, but we definitely knew that Daniel Atkinson just wasn't the 7 that we were thinking previously. You know, so you can get I definitely got that wrong. I thought that originally he was going to come in and be a better 7 than he's been able to provide for. Now, I'm not going to blame everything, all the woes of the Dragons on him, not that he's been great, but also this is a good change-up to see Flanagan go back into the 7 and Atkinson into the 6, because you do need to adjust something. I don't know what you do right now, Dragons, but you just need to find a way to fire up, because at the moment, it has just been absolutely pitiful. You lost in a controversial one to the Bulldogs, 15-14, round 1. You were up 20-16 with 20 minutes to go against the Melbourne Storm, who have looked awful this season. You lost 46-20. You lost to the Eels 30-20. You lost to the Titans 22-14. And then not only did you lose to the Cowboys, but you got thumped 32-0 before this game. So 0-5, and it just is deplorable. Like, attacking wise, you've scored 68 points so far this season, which is definitely the worst attack in the competition right now. And then defensively, you've given up 145, which is actually not the worst defense in the competition, funnily enough. That is less than what the Raiders have given up, less than what the Eels have given up, and that's it. You're third last for the defense, but you're not last. So the current last place team for defense is Parramatta. The second worst is the Raiders, then it's the Dragons. We don't talk about who's in fourth last there. But that is the current state of the Dragons. So it is in a very, very precarious situation for the rest of the season. If they don't win this game, if they go and lose this and go 0-6, they're in a lot of trouble. Not just like some serious trouble. They're in a lot of damn well trouble. Because they need a direction right now. They just need to see it all, at least show signs of improvement. I don't think that you're at an area where it's like if you lose a close game here, you take it. I just don't think so. You've lost enough games this season that you just need to see a win. And anything but a win is an ultimate disappointment right now. Contextually, sometimes, if you compete well and you make it close and you lose by a close margin, you're okay with it because you put a whole big effort in, and it just didn't come through on the day. But again, that would be your sixth straight loss of the season. You would not have won in about a year, because it's been a long time into last season that the Dragons won. So like I said, they just need to win it today. It's as simple as that, man. And then we go to the Manly Seagulls, who their ends, Jason Saab, with the out being Josh Felitti. Fullback is Tom Trbojevic, who was the captain, with the wingers being Jason Saab and Lehigh Wade. Centres of Tolotau Kuala and Ruben Garrick, with the 5'8" being Luke Brooks, and the halfback is Jamal Fogarty. Front row forwards are Taniela Paseka and Kobe Hetherington, with the number 9 being Brandon Wakeham. The back row is Hamoli Olakawatu and Ben Trbojevic, with the 13 being Jake Trbojevic. Then you go to the interchange of Jake Simkin, Corey Waddle, Ethan Bullimore, Simeone Laiafi, Paul Bryan, Clayton Faulalo, and the coach being Kieran Foran. I was about to say Anthony Seabolt there. He got Sakamundost, and they won by 52 points to 18. Manly, I don't trust them yet. Like, at the end of the day, they had a big win, which I did tip last week, mind you. They had a big win against the Dolphins, 52 to 18. They were up 52-0 in that game, which was a major surprise considering their first 3 games they've had a bye. They lost the Raiders 29 to 28. They lost the Knights 36 to 16, and they lost the Roosters 33 to 16 with the bye in between. And then you've got that Dolphins game with a 152 to 18. I still could see Manly losing this game here today. I don't think that they're a world beater by any stretch of the imagination. I still think that they are at the beginning of a rebuild right now. They do need to start making some adjustments, and one game is not going to prove to me that Manly are ultimately back. If they go and win this game by 50, it also won't tell me that Manly are back, but it will give me a good sign to say that Manly are still a pretty good team, and they're not going to be finishing down the bottom of the table this year. A win is expected against the Dragons from any team right now, unfortunately, and Manly definitely should be coming into this game thinking, we've got some good players on paper. Hamoli Olakawatu in the back row, great. Jamal does his job. Luke Brooks had a decent enough game last week, funnily enough. Ruben Garrick, solid. Tolotau Kuala, solid. Jason Saab, defensively not great, but solid. Lehigh Wade does his job, and Tom Trbojevic, great. When Tom's firing, this Manly team is absolutely rock and rolling. Now, if you guys go back to 2021, Manly actually struggled the first 6 games. I think they'd won 1 game in the first 6 rounds, or it may have been, I'm going to go back to 2021 actually, because I know their breakout game was actually against my team. So yeah, they lost the Roosters 46-4, then they lost the Rabbitohs 26-12, they lost the Dragons 38-12, that's 0-3, then they lost the Panthers 46-6, that's 0-4, they beat the Warriors 13-12, and then they beat the Titans 36-0. I was there. Unbelievable game at Mudgee. That was the start of Tom Trbojevic from that year. So this is very similar, as we currently speak, to what we've seen so far this year, where they've had those big blowouts against them and they've lost a lot of games, but then they've gone and just absolutely whooped a team, and then they went flying from there. So I do give every possibility in the world that this is what we could see from Manly. Is that? No, it is a beautiful day. I thought there was a little bit of rain around for a second, but no, it's a beautiful day at the Gong. I give every chance that Manly could go on a bit of a run. This is a great game for them to continue this run, and then next week against the Cowboys, the week after against the Eels, before they play the Panthers. These next 3 weeks are very winnable games. So, they could have started the season 0-3 and then go on a 4-game win streak if they're good enough with, a Tom Trbojevic prime time season kind of deal. But you're not fully expecting that. They've still got a lot of problems in this team. One win does not change my mind on that. I think that was unbelievable for Kieran Foran. I want to see the best for Kieran Foran. I know Fozza is an unbelievable human, and I want to see Manly go well for him, and also just to see Manly successful, because Manly, when they're pumping, it is really, really good to watch. It is a really fun team to watch, and successful Manly is successful NRL at the end of the day, in my opinion. But also, I don't think that last week was a direct reflection of Kieran Foran getting into the job. I think that was a direct reflection of getting rid of Anthony Seipold, and if Manly continue this for the next 5 games, then it will be an absolutely positive reflection of what Kieran Foran is as a coach, and Manly will consider making him permanent, I believe, if he goes on a run here and really brings this team back into the light. I think that they would consider it, but for the time being, they're still tentative on it, I would assume, and I think this is a bit of a danger game, where Manly fans are going to think it's an easy win, and the Dragons could definitely come in and sneak a result against the odds, even though it's not like a massive underdog. It's a significant enough underdog, but I do give the Dragons a chance. I'm actually going to go the upset. I'm going to do it. I think it's a hard game to predict. I'm going to go the upset here, and I'm going to say the Dragons actually get their first win of the season. I could be so disappointed. I could get absolutely smack-a-mundossed here, and I could see the Dragons just really fall apart, knock the ball on central, and just make us want to headbutt a brick wall repeatedly until the Broncos-Cowboys game comes on, and there's a lot of injuries in that game for the Broncos, and that could do the same thing for us, but I'm going to suggest that maybe there's a snaky here, which is what I said last night. I didn't have the balls to tip the Bulldogs, but I said maybe, look, gut feel on the Bulldogs, maybe you had to sneak a little bit of an upset here. Again, didn't have the balls. The cojones were not on the table. I didn't tip the Doggies. I still went the Panthers, but I gave the outlook that potentially the Doggies were going to be up for it and maybe get a win, but definitely make it close. Well, guess what? They didn't only make it close. They didn't only win, but they won by 13 plus. So I'm getting a similar-ish vibe on a completely different contextual level for this game. So I'm going to go with a gut and take the Dragons, despite the fact that I'm full well aware they could get absolutely smack-a-mundos. Now, by the 7th round, to consider this a successful start of the season, the Dragons, it's not possible. You would, at a very maximum, be 2-5. At a very maximum. Now, these next 2 games, this game is very winnable, and then next week is against the Rabbitohs. Obviously, you are on 5. Realistically, if you want to salvage something from the season, you do need to win these next 2 games. The Rabbitohs are not unbeatable despite the fact that they're playing really good football, but the Rabbitohs are definitely not unbeatable right now. I think that you wouldn't be expecting to win that game, but if you win against Manly here, maybe you can try and put yourself onto a bit of a run. I think at minimum you have to win this Manly game. At minimum. Or just one of the next 2 games, and more than likely it would be Manly over the Rabbitohs. But I think that at a very minimum, you need to win one of these 2 games. Otherwise, not only are you likely to get the spoon, you probably do get the spoon. Because whilst I have my criticism of my club, the Gold Coast Titans, and whilst I say that their long-term season is going to be down in this area, I feel like if you can't get a win out of your first 7 games, I do fancy the Titans to sneak an upset every now and again. And there is a world that we beat the Yills on Sunday as well, especially with their injuries and whatnot. I just feel like it'll start to get away from you if you go 0-7. It'll start to get away, and then you're chasing. You don't want to be chasing, and you're not going to see a great deal of players gone to Origin from, say, a Raiders who are down there right now, from, say, a Titans who are down there right now. Previously, you've seen players, but Moaki Fodawaker is not making Origin. Tina probably will. Both Firma right now wouldn't be making Origin. So they're not going to be hounded too much by that Origin period. Titans have already beaten the Dragons and Cowboys, who a lot of people actually expected them down here early pre-season. Well, they've already won 3 games, so they're 3 games ahead of you. The Titans are 1 game ahead of you, same with the Raiders, but there is a world the Titans beat the Eels this week, and there is also a world the Raiders beat the Rabbitohs this week, which would then, if you lose this game, you would be, quite literally, in last by a whole 2 wins. Yes, because Manly would get a win as well. So you would be the only team with no wins, and you'd be 2 behind second last. So it is a very integral game here. So I'm going to say, by the end of the 7th round, if you are not 1-6, that is the most extreme disappointment, and I would pretty much be saying that the spoon is absolutely yours to lose at that point. Right now, it's still up in the air. Right now, it's not yours to lose. It's still up in the air across a good 4 or 5 teams still. 4 or 5 teams. And then we go to Manly. Obviously, they are 1-3 with that bye. By the end of the 7th round, they play the Dragons here and the Cowboys next week. Very winnable 2 games here. If you play like you did against the Dolphins, these next 2 games are extremely winnable. with you being, I think that 3-3 is actually a good shout. If you are a better team than were expected and you're not going to be fighting the spoon this year, and the Manly Seagulls are firing up for a bit of a not early season run, but getting towards the well, it's about getting towards the quarter-way mark. Or by the quarter-way mark, if you're going to really start to put a foot down and say that maybe we are a competitive top 8 team this year, you need to win both these games, which will be 3-3 by the 7th round with the bye. I think that's entirely likely, which would mean you'd have to win both these games. I still think it's an unsuccessful start of the season. If you only win one and then you're 2-4 to start the year, I think that's an extremely unsuccessful start of the season, despite the fact that it was pretty much expected from the general consensus, I would say, for Manly. People did expect this, but with Kim Freund there, maybe a little bit of rejuvenation. So I think that in your books, you should be expecting to win both these next two matchups. I think that from a neutral perspective, you just need to at least win one of them, and that would be the Dragons. And it would just be an ultimate disappointment if you're not if you're not at 3-3. I still think I think you need to get to 3-3. So for the Dragons, just win one of these next two games to be 1-6, even though that's not great. And for the I only just knocked the power cord out of this computer. And then for Manly, I think you need to be 3-3 for mine, but at the very minimum 2-4 with a win here against the Dragons. Now, in regards to the table, the Dragons, they are in last position. They're in 17th. With a loss here today, obviously they would stay in last and really beg the Eels and the Rabbitohs to beat the Titans and Raiders. Otherwise, it'll be a nightmare for them. So the Dragons with a loss, they're on minus 777 right now, which is the worst points differential. That would just get worse. They're only 7 points differential worse off than the Raiders, minus 69, and they're 13 worse off than the Titans on minus 64. So if they lose, obviously they're 2 points below anyway, they will be in last. If they win, however, now they would have to win by 8 points or more to go above the Raiders today. They would have to win by 14 points or more to go above the Titans today, and that's as high as they can go. The highest the Dragons can go this round is into 15th position, and the lowest is obviously just staying in last. But then, even if they win that game by 14, they need to expect the Raiders and the Titans to both lose, otherwise they potentially could still be in last position, even with a win. And on the other side, you got Manly, who aren't too far above them, so they're in 13th position right now, after the Dolphins received the bye, which put them above them. So Manly on 4 points, equal with the Melbourne Storm in 12, and the Eels in 14th on 4 as well. Manly have a minus 4, whilst Eels have minus 60, and the Storm have plus 26. So if Manly were to lose this game, if they were to go below the Eels today, they would have to lose by 56 points or more, 57 points or more, which is just not happening. But also, the Eels and Titans both play each other. Now, if the Titans beat the Eels, the points differential for the Titans is minus 64. So unless Manly get absolutely smacked by 60 points here, and then the Titans win by about 6 points, then Manly aren't going to be dropping below the Titans. However, if Manly lose and the Eels win, Manly will drop below the Eels there. The Raiders' points differential, again, is not good enough. For them to drop anywhere past 14th, they would need to lose this game by a mozza, and the other two teams win their games by a decent amount. So realistically, the lowest that Manly can finish is 14th. But also, there is a situation where they could go into as low as 16th. There is a situation where they could go there. I doubt it, however. If they are to win this game, though, they would immediately go above the Storm into 12th, and then they go equal with the Roosters, the Dolphins, the Broncos, the Cowboys, the Sharks, and the Warriors on 6 points. But their points differential would... it would put them above the Roosters on minus 35. They play the Sharks tomorrow. It would put them above the Dolphins on minus 26. They'd go into 10th position. If they win by 2 points or more, they actually today go above the Broncos. They play the Cowboys later on tonight. But they would go above the Broncos into 9th position. But because I guess if no matter what, you're going to go back below one of the Cowboys or Broncos. So the highest, if you won this game by 30 points and the Sharkies lost to they play the Roosters. Long story short, you're pretty much just going to situate yourself in about 9-10 range, which you'd be pretty happy with, to be fair. Because, and then hope the Sharks beat the Roosters, and obviously the Dolphins have had their bye, and then hope the Warriors beat the Storm, and then that would put you up into that area. Otherwise, there's an entire world that you just literally stay in 13th as well, if not as high as 12th. But there you go, guys. That is the preview here for today's game. Like I said, I'm actually taking a bit of an upset here. I'm not confident in it at all, but I think last night should prove to you that you should never be confident about any of your predictions, even though I was confident that the Bulldogs would have a good game. I didn't expect them to win. But it just shows to you how good Rugby League is. It just shows to you how good Rugby damn well league is when you're seeing results like that, son. Oh, my goodness me. Rugby League. You see, the Bulldogs outside the top 8 beat the undefeated Panthers. You see, these two absolute muppet teams that have been the absolute detriment to our mental health for the last 15 years, they're now in second and third. This team was also in the bottom 4 last year in the South Sydney Rabbitohs. I don't even know what you're doing here, based on this season so far. You know, it's just unbelievable. It's just absolutely unbelievable. This team was predicted down basically as a wooden spoon team. You know what I mean? But it's unbelievable. The 2 grand finals from last year, the Brisbane Broncos and Melbourne Storm, they don't even feature here, son. They don't even feature here, son. Oh, my gosh. Do you know what I mean? And you're lucky that one of the other prelim teams, like Panthers are there, but 3 of the 4 prelim teams, 3 of the 4 teams that were in the prelims last year, there is a really good chance that 3 of them are not in the top 8 by the end of round 6. There is a really good chance. You're just lucky this team's been so good until last week that they are they won't be dropping out anytime soon. But there we go. All right, guys, hit that like button and subscribe. Let's get into the chatola, and hopefully we've got a massive game here. Hopefully there's just an absolute gangbuster of a game. Tish says, 1,000th time of asking, when is BK going to resume cricket streams? When the international games start back up, because there is no international games right now unless you are wanting to watch the Cayman Islands take on Tahiti in the cricket. I never promised the IPL. I said I'd probably do the IPL, but I never promised the IPL. International cricket streams will absolutely happen when the international cricket comes back on. Sir Curry says, Wollongong Showground, Unit 349 Harbour Street. What are you doing? What are you even talking about? Jamie Dawes says, Blake, should I captain Turbo or Swafalongo? Oh, that's a tough one because the Warriors aren't looking great right now, but neither are the Storm. But when the Storm are hot, Farlongo is absolutely red hot. And then here, I'm just not confident in Manly until they go and do it again. So it's like, I feel like matchup-wise, sure, you'd be taking Tom Trbojevic here. I would honestly, I'd VC Tom Trbojevic and I would captain Suafalongo, and then if Tom tanks it, I would loophole. No, I think that's the only way you do it, because this game, there's just no ultimate confidence about it. Manly fans will be just like, what? You know, how can you not be confident right now? But I sit here and I say, like from a neutral perspective, you cannot be ultimately confident just yet. So I would VC Trbojevic, I would captain I'd captain Farlongo and then loophole it if necessary. Brighton with the gifted membership. Get on your Brighton, a big fella with Art of Limbs receiving the gifted membership. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Get around your Brighton. Neil says probably after Origin they'll be surging like the Panthers did last year. Who are we referring to? Maybe Melbourne? Who are we referring to there? I'll go back to the start of the chat. Neil says, think Manly will win, but will be a tough win. It's Dragons home, want that first win, but have to respect Manly form if performed like last week. Well, I wouldn't say the word form suggests one game. Do you know what I mean? Like, form for mine would be multiple games of quality. So they're in good form if they win this week, and that's 2 wins in a row. That would be quality form for mine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to say that Manly didn't play well last week. Manly played awesome, and again, I tipped him. But I wouldn't class, this goes for any team, I wouldn't class good form off of one individual result. But if they go and have 2 wins in a row or 3 wins in a row, I do think a threshold is at least 2 wins in a row to make it good form, if you know what I mean. So I think that there's an entire world Manly go and win this game by 50 if they play like they did last week, but I also am not confident just yet to completely back in balls to the wall that this team is who they said they were last week, despite the fact that I tipped them last week. Royal Majesty says, Dragons please win so the final milestone can be accomplished. We're at their mercy, mate. We're at their mercy. And he says, afternoon Blaze, it's time for 17 men in red V jerseys to determine my mood. Let's do this, Dragons. Yet, don't worry, I'll be with you on Sunday as I watch 17. Well, it's actually 19, Annie. Come on. It's actually 19. It's not 7 anymore. It's 19. But, gee whiz, God bless. Ben says, is Sloan the right choice for the fullback position even if Gutho comes back? Gutho's not been surreal this season. He's been quite slow. Sloan could at least up the pace. I had I've got Keanu Kenny as my fullback on my Supercoach draft team. Not Supercoach, Supercoach draft team where you can only select players that aren't on the board kind of deal, right? I have Keanu Kenny. And I also had Buller. Now, I'm too faithful to my man Keanu, and I believe he's going to score 17 tries this week against the Eels. So I also had Buller, who is a quality player, had a really good score last week. I actually dropped Buller to bring in Sloan because I believe he's a centre wing for a starter, so he's on a fullback, and I also did need a bit of a centre wing. And I've put Sloan to my team this week. I'm really confident that Sloan can provide a lot here for this Dragons team, and I think they needed a change. I'm not blaming Gutho, but it's a start. It's a start to a different direction for the Dragons. And when Gutho comes back, well, it ultimately depends on how these next 3 to 4 weeks go for Tyrell Sloan, but it will tick me off, let alone Dragons fans. It would piss Dragons fans off. It would tick me off. If Sloan has a really good 3 to 4 weeks, and then we see the same old man coach curse where they just go back to the original player despite the form, and also the form of that player prior to injury wasn't necessarily warranting a spot. Gutho is a good player. He's not what he once was. He's not an X factor. He is a defensive workhorse. Also can be a liability though. Gutho is good enough to be a fullback, but if Sloan earns his spot here, I don't think Gutho should walk straight back into the squad, and I think that would piss off Dragons fans and would tick me off as a neutral. Concept says, if we were bad with Gutho, I'm scared how bad we're going to be with Sloan. I disagree. I think that there's going to be a bit more pace added to your team. You are such a slow team. It is so slow. And I think anything right now is better than what we've seen. So I would rather, and this is what I said about Desi, I want a direction. I don't care what direction it goes. If it's in good or bad, at least give me a direction. Well, I care about what direction it goes, but I don't care about questioning whether it's going to be good or bad. With Des, I knew it was a bad direction. It wasn't progressing. It was just going negative. But now that we've got Josh Hannay, whether that's a good direction or a bad direction, I don't know. But at least it's a direction where we can figure it out as we go, right? There's at least a positive potential path, rather than with Des where there wasn't a potential positive path. And the same thing goes here with Tyrell Sloan. I would rather see this team change it up and try to bring a bit more pace into the team than to see the same old repetitive dribble that will just put them into last position. Do you know what I mean? Neil took the Bulldogs last night with points. Everyone did, didn't they? Here everyone did. Every man and his dog took the Bulldogs last night. I got a message from my mum this morning. My mum who goes, oh yeah, I took the Bulldogs last night. I said, did you take the Bulldogs, you wisher? Every man and his dog has apparently had one of the greatest upset tips of all time. You know, and again, I did say the doggies could get an upset. I didn't believe they would, but I did say they could. But why is it now that nobody believes in the dogs beforehand, and then as soon as they win, we get every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the whole world saying, wow, I tipped the dogs. Everyone. That's not me having a crack at you, by the way, Neil. That's just me and my frustration towards everyone now claiming that they tipped the dogs when I know it wasn't true. I know they didn't. And I know my mum. My mum doesn't know that much about the game. She's done it for some other reason. She hasn't done it because she genuinely believed it was going to happen. You know? And that's the thing, because I'm a public content creator, I'm the one who cops all the I told you so's, and you're just like, you didn't though. You didn't. Hobbit says Bulldogs did need to win more than the Panthers. They did, yeah. Young One says we bet in Manly boys. I would not be betting on this game, is my opinion. I would not be betting on this game. I think it's a tough one. I think it's a tough one to read. Brenton says, Gus said every team by round 6 will have at least one win and loss win. Shit, what? We'll have at least one. Okay, this is where I've been confused. Brenton Eslick, you've put 1-1. No, at least 1-1 or loss. Yeah, I'm confused, but you've said it maybe okay, but the English is not really Englishing for me right now, Brenton, so I'm going to blame you. Oh my gosh, get a couple of wins in Newcastle, and now he's just confusing the living shit out of me. But I know what you're trying to say. Well, that would be the Dragons at the win today. At the win right now. Jamie says, little does he know I VC Cleary. I did the same. I did the same. So now I'm relying on, I've got Munster. I've got Keanu Kenny, who I've actually currently got. I don't really care too much about winning the old draft, but if I do, it'd be great. But currently I've got it on Keanu just in case he has an absolute, just explosion of a game. The Dragons are about to come out in the field. Manly are already out in the field. Who have I got as a shout? Like, honestly, I wouldn't mind captaining a bit of Luciano Leilua today, but I'm not going to do that. I've got Luciano on my team. I am going to... I've got Huddy Young against South. I've got Kalamatangi against Canberra. Robson against the Sharkies. Horsburgh against the Rabbits. Leilua. Oh, but I've also got... Would you guys play someone a final with Luciano Leilua right now? Tell me in the chat. Quickly. Would you play Fainu against Newcastle or Leilua against Manly? Quickly. In the chat, you've got about 2 seconds before this game does start so that I can make the switch. I need to potentially make the switch. Would you go Leilua against Manly or Fainu against the Tigers? Against the Knights? No, I've got Hudson Young, Cosrips. I can't. Josie says drink. What do you mean drink? Leilua? Okay, I'm leaving Leilua. Jeff, it's all on you. 2. What? What are we saying 2 here? Drink. I can't even understand what's happening. I can just see drink and 2 there. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening in there in the chat. But alright, anyway, the game has started. Leilua's in the team. If I want to put Fainu over Hudson Young, I technically can. Not that I think I'll do that. Manly side with the ball. Now bring this ball to the 15. First tackle. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Let me just refresh this live score. Yeah, Ben says drinking 2. What's happening in the chat? It says drink and it says 2. What does that even mean? What are we doing? What are we doing? Manly bring it out to the 33 on third tackle. I don't know. My hat-trick prediction for this game is Lee Hapawado. You're a Dragons fan. You're predicting a hat-trick for the opposition team. Fifth tackle now for Tom Trbojevic to bring this ball to the 50. Neil says Bulldogs plus 32.5 to multi because they hadn't lost a game by more than 8 in their other games. Okay, so yeah, you went with the points plus 32.5. Absolutely agreed with that. I went and said that you guys should tip plus 18.5. They had the handicap of minus 17.5 for the Panthers. I said I think the Bulldogs cover that. So. Yeah, you know, I like that. Sean says, good afternoon, mate. It's just betting on a new account. I don't know what's happening. So, third tackle here for the Dragons, and they'll be at the 25. Jay not reminding about the scoreboard. Well, Jay's in a bit of hot bother right now, mate. So, he's just doing his thing and getting back to full fitness and full health to come and slap you guys down the chat. And it will be Emre Gula to the 45. Miss Shaw says, Chicks from the States again, mate. What do you think of over, under 48? I would... Oh, it's a hard game with that one too. I will say I'm going to go under here, even though it could entirely go over too. I'm going to go the under and say that both these teams really hurt the brain today. We don't see a huge amount of points and the Dragons win like 22 to 16 or something like that. Or 18 to 14 kind of deal. Like, there's an entire world, there's a lot of points, but there's also an entire world there isn't. And that's why this is such a hard game to predict. You know, you sure not? I agree under 48. Yeah, I'll go under 48, but like it's a difficult one. Fourth tackle now for Manly, and they've got to be at the 42. You know what? As much as I criticise Shane Flanagan, I honestly want to see Dragons win today for him because mental health-wise, he'd be going through it. Tom Trbojevic, he'll be at the 20 on fifth tackle. And at the end of the day, he's a human. Despite the fact that you can be critical, at the end of the day, he's a human. And I can see it in his face that he is... He's copping it right now. Tyrell Sloan up in the air, catches that one, and we're taking down about 2 metres out. I'm surprised that Manly didn't really chase that one as hard as I was expecting. Setu 2 has lost the ball. Manly now on the attack, and they're going to be literally 5 metres out. Well, Garrick, if you don't go down, that's an obstruction. Well, there was an obstruction there. Okay, anyway, 0 tackle here for Manly at the 5. God says, screw it all, man. 0 tackle, Daniela Paseka. He'll be 3 metres out, first tackle. First tackle. They go out to Tom Trbojevic, Ruben Garrick, and Garrick's going to be second tackle. Let's see some defence here, Dragons. You got the 3rd worst defence in the league this year. But let's see you turn up for this one. Out to Jay Trbojevic. Jay Trbojevic to Luke Brooks. Luke Brooks gets it across the bench. Trbojevic, he's lost that ball. He's lost that ball. Knock on Manly. Good work, Dragons. Good work. Good work. Miss Shaw says, yeah, I took the over and then bet the under to cancel it, not enough conviction. This game is like, this game and the next game is really difficult to read. Both of them are really, really hard. So that's why I would probably, I don't really bet, but like, I would probably say I would go Dragons handicap into, I'm still probably taking Bronx to win the night, even though they've got a lot of injuries. If we lose today, I'm going to support Japanese ping pong. Codstrips, no, you're not. You're going to support the Gold Coast Titans. That's what you're going to do. Penalty to the Dragons, because you are ultimately a Titans fan at the end of the day. We all are. We just haven't gotten to the level of understanding we are, if you haven't yet. Yes. So, not Japanese ping pong, even though it's a great athletic sport, mate. Unbelievable. Maybe you should check out Thailand ping pong right after that. But if you're really into that kind of deal. But no, you're a Titans fan at the end of the day, mate. Get with the times. All right, so the Dragons, they're going to be the 40 on first tackle. Miss Chaw says a lot of money steamed Dragons late to lower their odds. Well, I'll tip the Dragons here in an upset. Jaden Sewer, he's going to get this ball to the 33 on second tackle. Steve Hubbard says, hey, Blaze, get around you, son. Damien Cook off to Hamish Stewart, then off to Luciano Leilua. I want to try at him today because, Jeffrey, it's all on you, mate. All on you. If I lose my Supercoach draft matchup, I'm blaming you. Even if Luciano still scores 150, I'm blaming you. They go to the left. Damien Cook to Carl Flanagan. Then off to Emre Gula. Gula. He'll be 13 metres out. Fit tackle. Rolls it back. They go to the right. It's going to be Toby Cashman. What the hell was that from the Dragons? And Luke Brooks is away. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Dragons. Oh my gosh, Dragons. That was horrific. I don't know what we just saw there from the Dragons, but it was something we should never see again. Knock on from Tyrell Sloan, by the way, but that was horrific. Yo, just tuned in. I think Manly should win, but the Dragons have a good record at home against Manly. Sure. I don't really read into the home record against Manly, but I know they don't have a great home record this year. Second tackle now at the 30. And Brandon Wakeham now to Daniel Paseka with third tackle at the 20. Scott says, Thailand ping pong a patong. Now we're talking, Scott Boots. Now we're talking. Third tackle at the 20. Bad patong. Now to Tom Trebojevic, the 20. Tota Kola. Kola taking out of the 10 on fourth tackle now. Sloan glitched on the ball on the ball line. It did. I thought the Dragons were going to go score a try too, and then next minute Sloan drops it, and then one of the slowest players on the field, Luke Brooks, runs 40 metres. That's the Dragons if I ever did see it. Fifth tackle now for Manly, 10 metres away. Off to Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty puts that one up in a good area. Sap! Knocks it back. Oh, I think that's a knock on. I think there's a knock on here. Are they going to say he caught it? Oh, they're going to say he caught this. Okay, well, we're going to look at the bunker for this. This is actually amazing if Garrett catches this. They have 7-Eleven where you at in Thailand, bro. So long, mate. They've got 7-Eleven literally every 5 metres in Thailand. But Manly will score. I thought there might have been a knock on here, but if he's caught this, this is actually really incredible stuff. And this all comes from Tyrell Sloan. I don't know what on earth he was doing, dude. Can we see the bubble? Would be nice. Who cares about the other side of the field right now? I want to see the bubble. So Saab gets up for it. That's fine. And then goes back there. Garrick touches it there. Oh, I think that's a knock on. I don't know, man. We have to see this closer. We're going to have to see this closer. This is close as... If he's still caught this, it's actually amazing. Oh, no, I think he's caught it. That's actually amazing that he's got that. I don't know. This is really close. Yeah, there's a blade of grass and that. Try confirmed. It was a tight one. That was real tight. That was really tight, but it's going to be a try here to Ruben Garrick, but wow, you couldn't really get too much closer than that, man. Well, I don't know what Block is talking about with the knee here, but anyway. Teams get 3 bye rounds a year now. We already get 3 byes anyway. Are you trying to make a joke towards the Dragons? Because that would be 5 byes then, potentially. 4. They miss a kick, so it's going to say 4-0 to Manly. I love how the only team on fraud load is first place, but well deserved. Mate, listen here, and listen up well. The Panthers is so much fraud that ever did fraud that I'm really considering chucking them on the biggest frauds ever and putting just fraud across the entirety of the name right now. Time to crack some brews. Hey, you may as well. I'll have my codes here. I've got a coffee. This coffee's amazing, by the way. So good. Absolute looker as well. Moja says, oh yeah, he caught that from that angle. I think he does catch it, but it was close. It was close. Did Sloan not compete for that? What do you mean? You blaming Sloan for that? Manly looking good so far. Really? Like they'll get the try, but I wouldn't necessarily say they've looked amazing this opening 8 minutes. So Manly out to the right hand side, it's going to be Olakau'atu, and Olakau'atu is going to be at the 20. Again, it came down to the Dragons knocking the ball on 5 metres out for Manly then to make a 40-metre breakaway because of the lack of effort from the Dragons, and they've ultimately gone the length of the field and scored. Dogs still on FA? Well, no, because they're in the top 8 and they beat the Panthers. So, no. Things change very quickly, guys. But they absolutely deserved their fraud alert up until last night. But they weren't even in the top 8 to be on fraud alert. Anyone who's not in the top 8 is automatically on fraud alert, guys, on this ladder. Tolotau Kuala will be taken down to the 45 on fit tackle. The Panthers seemed like they started yesterday's game right after their game from the week before. They fumbled, defence was non-existent, and passes landed on the floor half the time. Yep, and that was in the first half. The way you need to beat the Panthers is you need to beat them in the first half because they are not a great second half team. And that's why I replied to Sloan with the ball at 15. I replied to the comment saying that someone on Fox was saying the Panthers aren't defending their lead in the second half. They're looking to extend it. No, they are not. That's just not what we've seen from the Panthers this year. They are just playing it out, is what I would say. They're not looking to defend it. They're just playing it out at a normal level. Second halves of them are not great. Jaden Sewer brings the ball to the 40 on 4 tackle. 10 minutes gone in the first half. 30 minutes to go in the first half. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Wanted 6 says, sorry, who scored again? It was Ruben Garrick. Fit tackle now at the 50. G'day all, have a look at the Dragons draw and tell me when they will genuinely win a game if they lose tonight, excluding the thought of an upset win, which they probably will get sometime. Well, I've actually tipped the Dragons for a potential little upset here. I think there's an entire possibility they could still win next week, even though it's unlikely, against... who do they play again next week? The Dragons next week will play the Rabbitohs. Roosters also not completely unbeatable there on Anzac Day. Knights, Panthers, Warriors, Broncos, Sharks draw doesn't look great for them, but like it'll happen, man. It'll happen. This is what I was trying to say to everyone last week. The Panthers look unbeatable right now, but they will lose at some point. And guess what? They lost yesterday. So Manly out to the right to Jay Trbojevic, then off to Jamal Fogarty, Hamoli Olakau'atu, and he's going to be at the 45 on fit tackle. Dragons, Eels, Spoon Bowl, Kurt says. Hey, mate, I love it, because that means my team's not included. Luke Brooks is going to be at the 40. Keep saying that till the cows come home. I like it. Jason Saab, Tyrell Sloan, but Sloan grabs this in the air at the 15. Coffee and Coke, all you need is a couple of Red Bulls and you bounce off the walls, mate. I'm flying, son. Flying. Steve, you just got to just keep on cracking on, mate. Coke, coffee. But it's Coke Zero, all right? So it's healthy. It's actually 2 with a good run. He brings his ball to the 25, third tackle. Eels are good. Yeah, no, they've been fantastic this season so far. Daniel Atkinson with a great run of the 45 on 4 tackle. And he won a quick play ball. I'm surprised they didn't get a 6 again. This is good here from the Dragons. Tyrell Sloan with the offload to Toby Couchman, and Couchman's going to run this ball to the 30. It was a good about 75 metres gain there. That was a really good, about 70 metres gain. Really good set here from the Dragons. Go out to the left to Carl Flanagan. Luciano Leilua kicks the ball through, and there's a good bounce up over the Dragons. Oh my gosh, Luciano Leilua with an amazing kick. I don't know what Tuipolota was doing. It wasn't fast enough because that should have been a try. That should have been a try. Luciano Leilua puts this little grubber through here. I can't believe Tuipolota mustn't be running onto this ball anywhere near hard enough because I don't know why it took him so long to get to that ball. Brian says Eels getting smoked this week. Absolutely smoked, son. Absolutely smoked. Johnny says, can you tell me who you think are the top 3 teams? I'm struggling for my second and third after the Panthers. Well, obviously, yeah, Panthers are number 1. I will say it's really difficult. If we're talking throughout this season so far, I would right this very second on form and the way that they're playing. Oh, Trbojevic just knocked that ball on. Dragons ball to 40. I would, funnily enough, say the Knights. The Knights look good, man. They're all out of attack and they're enjoyable footy right now. I'm only going to go off right now because it's really difficult thinking long-term this season because you're going to have biases from last year included with what we're seeing this year and whatnot. I would say Panthers, Knights, and it's so difficult, bro. You're right. It's impossible to after round 7, I will do an update. Tuipolota is injured right now. God bless him, man. After round 7, I will do an updated ladder prediction video. I'm going to do that after every 7 rounds. just to kind of keep us. It's sort of like a power rankings in a way, rather than a prediction, but it's sort of like a power rankings on what I'm seeing the competition like. So not this week, but next week, you will see an update ladder prediction. So yeah, you're gonna have Panthers on first, obviously, but then it's gonna be interesting to see where I think second or third would go. Tigers and Knights, yeah, but you're just going straight off the table, and that's not how you've got to really think of it. You got to look at this might be a penalty, to be fair. There's maybe a penalty coming up here to the Dragons. You've got to look at it contextually. You've got to look at who teams have played. You've got to look at injury concerns. You've got to look at so many different factors. It's not just about win-loss overall. There's a lot of contextual things that you've got to take into play. So that's why I wouldn't just say Panthers, Tigers, and Knights. Daniel Atkinson just looks more comfortable at 6. He does. He looks a lot better here. Motor says, sorry, I misunderstood the question. Yeah, it's not just about simply who is in the top 3. He's asking, like, who would I say right now is the top 3 teams of the competition. So there's not going to be a penalty, but we second tackle here for the Dragons at the 45. Damien Cook off to Emigula. And Gula will be at the 50 on third tackle. Yeah. Form-wise, I've got Knights rocking it at first right now. It could be equal first if they win this week. Fourth tackle at the 45. They go to the left to Daniel Atkinson, then off to Toby Couchman. Really like Toby Couchman today so far. Fifth tackle here at the 35. 13 minutes gone. Damien Cook, he'll go out to Daniel Atkinson. And Atkinson, he'll kick that ball up. He's looked a lot better in the 6 here today. Tom Dvojevic gets it, and he'll be taken down at the 5. I don't know what happened with Tyrell Sloan. He's looked weird today. He's looked really weird. Give me 1 second here, guys. Give me 1 second here. All right, we're about 4 tackle for Manly, and they're going to be at the 25. And geez, they're slapped down. Not a great set here. How long is the other Couchman out for? I'm actually not too sure, mate. I'm not too sure. Told you Sloan is trash. Again, sure, but also what better are you getting out of Gutho? And inside the 40, that's going to go towards the sideline, and Tyrell Sloan's going to let that go for 40-20. You're going to slow down, Cosrips. You're going to wait till you hear me commentate it. But it is going to be a 40-20 here effectively from the Manly Seagulls because Sloan doesn't get back for it. But just wait until you hear me commentate it first, Cosrips. That is a ball poor there from Sloan. Like, either way, like, Gutho probably doesn't give that up, but also entirely possible. He's not the fastest off the mark, and that was a good kick from Fox. Home the NRL says Tuipulotu is one of those wingers where he'll get 200 metres and 100 post-contact but doesn't have that speed. Agree. Yeah, I agree with that. Manly with the ball, 10 metres out. I can't believe people are talking about Thai Ping Pong and Priscilla Queen of the Desert right now in the chat. Baffling. Oh, short ball. Garrick taking down the 5. Second tackle. 6 again for the Manly Seagulls. 6 again. And Jamal Fogarty gets it across to Taniela Paseka, and he's going to be 5 metres away from the line. First tackle. 5 metres away. Dragons, they've just not... They've 6 again. Oh my gosh, Dragons, you're going to give me an aneurysm. They go to the right, and Manly can be Hetherington. Hetherington's going to be 3 metres out from the line. First tackle. Brandon Wakeham to Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty to Tom Trbojevic. Tom Trbojevic steps. Oh my gosh, that's bad defense from the Dragons. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Guys, this is going to be a long season for you. Holy shit. Oh my gosh, that is actually the most pathetic defense I've nearly seen. And I'm a Titans fan. Oh my gosh. And I was literally just about to say Manly haven't been that great today. And I also don't even think that was that great. All Tom Dvojevic had to do was walk towards the line here. Who is this? It's Flanagan, isn't it? No, it's Flanagan. Oh my gosh, Kyle Flanagan. Oh, Kyle Flanagan, dude. That defense is so bad, man. What's he doing, man? Like, why is he biting off to the outside there? Like, you've got 2 players out there. Like, why are you biting off to the outside? Like I says, no, remember, Blaze, you are a Titans fan. You can't be talking about the Dragons defense like that. I'll talk about the Dragons defense like that, and I'll talk about the Titans defense like that, and I'll say they're both shitouts. Gee whiz, that defense was so bad. So bad. So most tries, Tom Trbojevic is on 6. Well, I told you to Captain Tom Trbojevic, by the way. I can't remember who asked it before. I'm going to claim I told you. SC Captain, there you go. No, he says, I hope we lose by 50, so both shit pot Flanagan's get the arse at full time. Honestly, at this point, man, I said this last week against the Cowboys too. There was nothing that anybody could do, that's going to be 10-0, to tell me the Dragons weren't playing to get rid of Flanagan. I don't care what they come out in the media and say. Like, at the end of the day, you've got to do the niceties in the media. But it's pretty obvious to me that this Dragons team just does not give a shit about playing for Shane Flanagan. It's so, like, even if they find a way to come back and win this game, there's no intention here. There just isn't. There really just isn't. Mrs. is worried about me shadowboxing in the lounge room. I think I've lost it. We've all been there before. Just tell her we've all been there before. Give me until Sunday and I'll be there on Sunday. Mo says, what a bunch of muppets. See, it's not the Dragons keep losing that hurts, it's how we do it. I think you are showing intention that you don't want to play for Shane Flanagan. So Manly right inside their away, Ruben Garrick. You can't tell me this team gives a shit. You can't tell me. You cannot tell me. Tyrell Sloan's coming across. Garrick scores. You cannot tell me that the Dragons give a fuck about rugby league right now. You cannot tell me. I'm sorry, but Manly, this is a falsity. It's not even Manly. This Dragons team is an absolute nightmare to watch every week. They are a nightmare to watch every week. It is a nightmare to watch this from a Dragons, on any kind of Dragons perspective. What even are you? That is insane. What even are you? You kick the ball to the 5. They run 95 metres by a very simple pass to Ruben Garrick. What even are you? They had 2 on nobody on the wing off the kickoff. How is that even possible in rugby league? How is it possible to have 2 players unmarked on the wing in rugby league off of a kickoff? Off of a kickoff! You have 2 players unmarked on the right wing. Are you serious? Are you serious? And then Val Holmes, that attempt at a tackle is insane. Like, oh, dude. Oh my gosh. An under 14s team would beat this Dragons team right now. I'm sorry, Dragons fans, but I know you know I'm being honest here too. I'm not trying to shit on you for no reason. I'm saying what I'm observing. And I think you're observing the same thing as me right now. Love to see more JC rants. Yeah, like he gets around it. That's just embarrassing. That was embarrassing, Hobbit. And Manly will kick it through at 16-0. It's clear the players are not playing for Shane Flanagan. It is clear they don't want to play for him. It is time to let go of the coach. It is time. The effort is not here. The work rate is not here. You can't just blame the players. You can also blame the players. But who were the ones to sign the players? The board is a mess. The club is a mess. The coach is a mess. You've got a random Sharks fan here down at the gong right now on the sideline, which is just amazing to me. The players are a mess. Everything is a mess right now. But also, Shane Flanagan needs to go. Shane Flanagan needs to go. Manly is going to get this ball here at the in goal. Just pass it to the right-hand side and you'll have another unmarked winger. I'm 65, blinded one eye and half crippled with arthritis, and I could put in a better effort. Look valid, mate. Second tackle here at the 20. It's only been 19 minutes. And now Garrick's already at the 35. They've already nearly had double the amount of sets, Manly. As Sharks fans showing more heart and bravery than every Dragons playing the field. Dragons, funnily enough, oh my gosh, they might score again. Tolotau Qual to the 50 on 4th tackle. Kurt says, mate, you know what? My ex-missus dad followed the Dragons for over 40 years. Through the Steeler days and last year he jumped ship. Could see the club on all levels going down. No, that's saying shit. Don't agree with what he's done, but also get it. Don't agree with what he's done, but also get it. But I would never leave my club. They're over the sideline, so Dragons ball to 15. 20 minutes gone in the first half, 20 minutes to go. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Andrew says, Dragons are dog shit. Think most of the women's teams would beat them at the moment. They should be giving their fans their money back tonight for their tickets. Well, you know what's an interesting thing? Is that everything for the Dragons right now kind of goes through the gong. So, like, their training goes through the gong. Their facilities are all on the gong. Penalty to the Dragons at the 20. Right now, run mate is 563 for Manly, like 160 there for the Dragons. Tuipulotu comes off the field. God bless him, he's obviously injured. But it's very interesting that basically everything for the Dragons currently goes through the gong. But I also believe the board is ultimately St George. Am I incorrect in saying that, Dragons fans? That everything is in Wollongong except for the board and the club operations, which is St George side? So out of the left-hand side here for the Dragons, they're 40 metres out from the line. The gong is a shithole. I love the gong on the beach, but also know what you're talking about. First tackle out to 38. And it's Carl Flanagan off to Emre Gula. Can you guys have a crack, please? Just have a crack. Yeah, that's wild, Cos Rips. It's just such a disillusioned situation. They go out to the right. Off to Kyle Flanagan, then to Jaden Sewer. He'll get the offload away to Moses Sully, and Moses Sully is just going to run that ball hard back to the 13. 4 tackling our Dragons. Please just have a crack. Show your fans something. Out to Flanagan, short ball. I don't know what that pass was to Val Holmes. You've shaped up at the back and you go for a short ball into the line where Val Holmes was clearly locked up. Hamish Stewart, Kyle Flanagan, out to Atkinson. Atkinson, across. Try time Moses Sully out of nowhere. Was it tap forward? No, they're going to call this a try. They can't call this as a forward part. No, they're going to say no try. They're saying maybe there's an obstruction here. Maybe there's an obstruction. So where? So they saying Jaden Sewer? Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it. Luke Brooks has dived. Luke Brooks has dived. Do not reward that. That is not contact. Luke Brooks has dived. He hasn't even touched him. He hasn't even touched him. He's dived beforehand. Look at him. He has dived. Luke Brooks has dived. Oh, screw off, bunker. That is bullshit. Luke Brooks has dived before the contact was even made to get this obstruction penalty. How can we not? How can you justify that that is not a try? Because Luke Brooks is already going down before the contact. He is going down before the contact with Jaden Sewer. Bunker, have a bit of common sense. Have a bit of common sense. Dragons have been shithouse today, but you cannot reward a dive like that from Luke Brooks. How can you reward that? And then you've got this clown in the bunker. Just because you're getting paid doesn't mean you know what you're talking about. You've literally just seen him dive beforehand, and then you've rewarded him for it. Second tackle now for Manly at the 50. We haven't scored tries since 25 minutes into the Titans game. 2 full games. That's crazy to think about. Manly now third tackle at the 45. Crazy to me that that's been called. If anything, it could be ball don't lie on the basis that there might have been a forward pass involved. But the way they've called out no try was just abhorrent. They've rewarded a dive from Luke Brooks. Luke Brooks up to Ben Trbojevic. They'll be taken down to the 20. Brooks doing a Moses. But he was rewarded for it. Luke Brooks kicks that ball up. Tyrell Sloan there. Sloan, that's a great grab against a lot of pressure there from Tom Trbojevic. And he'll be taken down to the 9, first tackle. First try in 100 minutes is crazy. That's a good run there from Setu too, but only to the 15 though. But he can't really do too much right now. Manly, they're getting... Dragons aren't running the ball too hard, but also Manly getting up well on the line. Of to Luciano Leilua, and he's going to be at the 30 now. Full-time stories. Luke Brooks has been watching the Premier League recently. I just don't understand how you can watch that and reward it and say that there is contact, so that means it's a penalty, but the contact is after he's already going down. It's after it. It's incredible. Lee Hopewade is going to be at the 50 on second tackle. Who do the Dragons play next week? Do their fans have any hope? They play the Rabbitohs next week. Third tackle here for Manly at the 35. And just to clarify, the Dragons are not getting robbed in this game. I just don't like that they've rewarded a dive there. and a blatant one too, but the Dragons have not been playing well. So this, just because I'm criticising the refs does not mean I then think that they're getting robbed. Fifth tackle, no, fourth tackle. They offload it to Brendan Wakeham, to Jamal Fogarty, to Luke Brooks. Luke Brooks gets it off to Ben Trebojevic. Ben Trebojevic is at the 12. They give it to Luke Brooks. Brooks puts that one up in a pretty good air. Olakawatu, I think that's a knock-on from Olakawatu, but Kyle Flanagan will get it, and he'll be taken down to the 10 first tackle. Gary says, well, should be 0 tackle. This falling over and diving has been creeping into our game for a while now. It needs stomping out immediately. Yeah, but the bunker's not doing anything to stomp it out by rewarding it just now. It wasn't even a knock-on they called. They just said it's Dragons' ball. So this is second tackle, and Lushan Leilua brings this ball out to the 25 on third tackle. 6 again. It is outside the 20, so it's 6 again rather than a penalty. Blake Laurie takes it to the 35 on first tackle. 34 likes, hit the button. Yeah, hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already, guys. Tyrell Sloan, good run to the 45, and that's a quick play the ball too. This is great here for the Dragons. Damien Cook very quickly. And he's going to get this ball to the 38, third tackle. And 6 again. 6 again. Swifty says, your commentary is mid at best and you'll bias the Dragons because you look like a dumb leb. Okay, well, for starters, mate, I don't support either of these two teams. Secondly, I actually like Manly, and because that's my dad's team, I have a bit of a soft spot for them compared to others. Thirdly, I don't support either of these two teams. And fourthly, I'm not Lebanese. So I don't know what on earth you're talking about, champion. I don't even support a Sydney-based club. Third tackle. And the last time my team played either of these teams, we beat them. So the right-hand side, Tyrell Sloan is going to set this ball to the 10. Being called biased the Dragons is incredible. Do you understand how much I criticise this Dragons team? So they're 3 metres out from the line. Damien Cook. But anyway, thanks to subscriber champ. Carl Flanagan steps. Carl Flanagan goes. And I don't know what he's doing, dude. That was shit house. And Manly bring this ball out to the 15. What an impressive comment, though. That was impressive. It took all brain cells that you've come up with from your... well, it's Friday. You should have been at school today. So it's taken all of your brain cells to come up with a comment that makes absolutely no sense because I don't support either of these teams and I'm not Lebanese. What an incredible comment. So the third tackle, no, they get the ball away, top of that quarter, and quarter's going to be down to the 45 on fourth tackle. Oh my gosh, Titch, I've replied to your comment about 400 times, bro. Please stop asking about cricket. I've said international. Please. I've responded to your cricket thing a million times. A million times now. It's not my fault that you're not in the stream when I get to your comment. At the end of the day, man, I've replied to it a billion times. Carl Flanagan now. Oh my God, Flanagan. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Carl Flanagan. Oh, it's going to be a penalty to the Dragons. Oh, Carl Flanagan nearly gave me an aneurysm. Can we get Flano Jr. off the field? Dude, the Dragons are so shit. It's actually amazing. Oh, bro. Bro, I'll be back for the international cricket streams. Please stop asking when cricket streams will come back. I've said a million times when international games are back on. There is no games on right now besides the Cayman Islands versus Tahiti. I'm not streaming the Cayman Islands versus Tahiti. I'm worried even if the NRL crack down on people diving, it'll be so inconsistent. This is starting to look like a Titan stream with the emotions. I just want to see a good game. Oh, dude. I'm just passionate about the game of rugby league, dude. And the Dragons are disappointing at the moment. But, no, I'm just passionate about the game of rugby league. Third tackle now. And they'll get this ball to the 33. Will the Dragons score more than once? I would like them just to score once. And the Dragons, Tyrell Sloan, will be at the 30 on fourth tackle. Damien Cook, he'll get that ball off to Atkinson, and it is they're going to say knocked backwards, so it's going to be Dragons ball at the 30 on fifth tackle. I couldn't imagine the strength of the Titans playing like this. I've flipped out like that many a time, bro. Many a time over the Gold Coast. Tom Trebojevic gets it, and they'll be taken out of the 10. This team is just a mess. It is, Mo. Up the Tahiti ball breakers. Andrew says, think Flanagan might struggle if he was playing for the under 11s tonight. Oh boy, it's something. It is something. Third tackle now for the Manly. They'll be at the 25. There's going to be an injury here. Oh wow, J.J. Boywich's right eye. God bless him. Oh damn, he can't even see out of that right eye. It's completely closed. God bless him. This is prediction for Cowboys Bronx. I'm taking Bronx still, but I'm not confident. It's a really tough game with the injuries and whatnot. But I will still take the Bronx. But you could eat the Cowboys. They're favourites for a reason. All right, so Jake Boyovich off the field here with that injury. Off the field with the injury. Hold on, I'm just checking something. There we go. So Manly now at the 30 on 4 tackle. Put Cook at centre might actually help. That's the way to go. That's the way. Fit tackle for Manly and they'll beat the 40. I tip Manly but would be happy for the Dragons if they got their first win. If I say that I'm happy for the Dragons, they got their first win, I'll be called a Dragons fan. I've never been called a Dragons fan before. That's actually cool. That's cool. So first tackle now. They'll be the 15. Cosgrove says, get Silva and Leilua one-on-one in the red zone. They'd never do it. Just goes through the hands for nothing to eventuate. Yeah, I agree. You can't blame the back rowers for what's happening at the Dragons right now. They do put effort in. Lucian Leilua is probably your most effort every week. Which, if you go back 4 or 5 years ago, you wouldn't have been saying that at all. Miss choices are there, Dragons fans? There's a lot of them. They deserve better. Lucian Leilua with the ball. He'll get this ball to the 45, and he'll get it out to the 50. That's going to be a bad tackle. That's a penalty. Yep, penalty to the Dragons on fit tackle 2 at the 50. 30 minutes gone in the first half. 10 minutes to go. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Ben says you'd be calling the biggest biased person towards the Dragons. No, so it's just because that guy's a Manly fan, and I'm not circle jerking him as much as he would like. He would like a nice little rub down watching his Manly team, even though they're currently taking on a team that has not won a game so far this season. Again, I tipped Manly last week. I saw that coming, and also and said that they realistically, if they're a good enough team, they should be winning this game by a lot. But this isn't a game to circle jet Manly over. Let's see how the Dragons have been playing. They've not been playing well at all. The Dragons are now at the 25. And he says, don't do it to yourself, Blaze. Man, a Dragons fan's not good for one's sanity. I'm a Titans fan. You think that's good for my sanity? It's a bit of a muchness, really. Second tackle here with the Dragons at the 20. They go to the left. Just a reminder that that win for the Titans against the Dragons a couple weeks ago was our first in years against St George. 10 metres away from the line. They go out to Carl Flanagan. Flanagan then to Atkinson. Atkinson, nothing in the line, gets absolutely slapped at the 14 on 4 tackle. Think I just dry reached thinking about someone calling me a Dragons fan. Blake Laurie. Fit tackle at the 4. Yeah, field goal, Cos Rips. Yeah, we like it. We like it. Daniel Atkinson out to Flanagan. Flanagan runs it himself. Oh my gosh, he just keeps getting tackled on 5th, bro. Oh, it's offside against Manly, so Flanagan gets let off the hook. Oh my gosh, he just keeps running the ball on 5th, bro. At least it's a penalty to the Dragons, but oh my gosh. Oh, dude. Steve Hubbard says, stop crapping on about being biased. Oh, there's a try for Luciano Leilua. Super coach! Jeffrey! 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 Super coach Luciano Leilua. Hey! Super coach, super coach, super coach. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Come on, Dragons fans, fire up. Us Dragons fans, we're going to stick together. That was really smart from him, though. Quick tap, and he just pushes over the line. That's good. Us Dragons fans, we're going to stick together, lads. Oh, boy. 16-4 with a kid to come. Andy says, will the Dragons win a game this season? Same thing was said about the Panthers until yesterday, man. Oh, and I was saying all last week, I said, guys, relax. Like, it's round 5. The Panthers will lose at some point this season, and they end up losing the next week. I didn't think they would, but I said the Doggies were a sneaky little tricky game for them. But the same notion of the Panthers going undefeated goes the same thing for the Dragons not winning a game. But then again, I'm a Dragons fan, so I'm being biased. Like I said, the most optimal thing for the Dragons right now would be taking the 2 after this conversion. That's probably the right idea, take the 2. I'm actually disappointed they scored a try. They should have taken the 2 from the penalty. They should have taken the 2. That's their first try, as someone said in the chat before, since 25 minutes into the Titans game, by the way. Maybe Kyle's tactic of running on the last a lot was a tactic to put Manly in a false sense of security. Maybe, but Val Holmes will get the kick from over the black dot. Well, that's like a brown dot here. It's not even a black dot on the post at Wollongong. 16-6 with 7.5 minutes to go the first half. Don't give him too much credit there, mate. But I'm super happy that I put Leilua in now because a try will maybe take him to above 100 for today with his output. Probably does. He usually gets about 80 odd on pure base stats. But also, I'm regretting putting Tyrell Sloan in my team. I'm regretting that one. So 7.5 minutes left, and Manly kick it off to the Dragons. And it'll be Blake Laurie who brings it out now to the 15 on first tackle. Ross says now do that 3 more times. Ibram says would be 12-16 if they took the 2 every single time. Jeez, Dragons, what are you doing? Take the 2. Not take the 2. I agree. They should take the 2 every single time, but also it could have actually been. If there wasn't a dive from Luke Brooks, it would have actually been a try to the Dragons before. Jeffrey says, who scored? Jeffy! Fire up for Luciano! I'm still blaming you if he doesn't score 100, though. 4 tackle now at the 50, and Jacob Little gets his ball across the halfway point. Well, I'll be damned. The big fella gets a meat pie. If Brooks can jag 1 and Manly win 1 of 12, be eating chicken dinners. Wish me luck. Come on, Brooksy. Can't wait for the 10% donation, Kurt. Cannot wait for the 10% donation. So that will be put up in the air. Chase is good here, but it's a good take there from Leo Bawade. Damien Cook put in a lot of effort to chase that one down. Shinksy says, before that try, Dragons went 11 unanswered tries. Gee whiz. That is a gee whiz moment. So Manly, second tackle at the 9. Well, they're putting on a little bit of pressure here, the Dragons, for the first time in history. Ruben Garrett gets his ball to the 13 on third tackle. Too bad Dragons can't just kick 11 field goals. Well, 11 field goals would win them game right now. They'd win 17-16. These are the things you've got to think about, mate. These are the really important things. If they kick 11 field goals, they win this game. But I was also at a game. I think it was in 2018. I was at the game at a core stadium between South Sydney Rabbitohs and the Dragons. It was a finals game. And I think it ended up being 13-12. And the Rabbitohs kicked 3 field goals from 10 points to win the game 13-12. Kicked a field goal to be down by 1. Kicked a field goal to tie the game. And then kicked a field goal to win it. Yes. First tackle, 20 metres out. They go to Setu 2, who brings it out at the 25 on second tackle. And now they'll bring it out to the 40 on third tackle. Mitchell says, Cook is really in the centres. Screw me. Yeah, he actually was. Yeah, I didn't even recognise that. Good offload there from Valholm. Jacob Little's away here. Jacob Little at the 40. Jacob Little at the 30. High tackle. Yep, penalty. Take the 2, Dragons. Right in front. Make it an 8-point game. Take the 2, you cats. It's a penalty to the Dragons here. Maybe we might have a bit of a game brewing here. Maybe a little bit of a game brewing. Good run from Jacob Little. Damien Cook is actually in the centres, right, by the way. 1 second. Oh, no, I don't actually have any more Coke Zero. Oh, well, I do in the fridge, but I have to go get it. There's no bin here. No way. Oh, Adam G was just speaking to him. I was going to say, there's no way there's a bin for Manly. Last 6 or 7 have been against Manly, so he's warning Manly. Who you got? Broncos and Cowboys. Very hard one, Ains. I'm taking Broncos, but like they have got a lot of injuries. Ben Hunt and also Reece Walsh are out. But I still get a bit of a vibe by the Bronx. I'm looking forward to a good game, though. We'll be live for it. No, don't take the 2. Let Flanagan run on last. Yeah, running on last with Flanagan's probably the optimal decision. So second tackle here for the Dragons, and they're 14 metres out. 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go here the first half. Blake Laurie back to Jacob Little. Then across here to Daniel Atkinson. Atkinson and Tyrell Sloan. Sloan is going to get tackled by Garrick. Oh, this is just a monstering battle between the 2 of them. Jacob Little, 6 again. He's 3 metres out from the line. 2 metres out. I think you scored. The Dragons back to back. Oh, Dragons fans, we need to stick together. Jacob Little out of nowhere. It's about to be a 4-point game. Oh my goodness me. Pigs do fly, Mo. Pigs do fly. Jacob Little, look at him go. This is a strong try because they've got Jake Simpkin on top of him. But he just really pushes over the Dragons. Have a look at his. Jacob Little. Number 17 for Manly should have done better. Who's number 17 for Manly? Oh, yeah, he gets it there. Wow, it's a strong try. Who's the 17 for Manly? Should have better. Simeone Leafi should have better there. Please God, Dragons win. It would be so funny, Miss Chaw says. I'm just happy for a good game. I couldn't care less who wins this game. I'm just happy for a good game. I want a close game. I'm just happy for a close game. Bro, is no one running up from the edges? Well, this is astounding. Like, the Dragons hadn't scored since the 25th minute of the Titans game, and they have now gone and scored twice in the last 2-3 minutes. Lagan says, yeah, no, that's bad on my part. Carl fighting and running every fifth is really the optimal tactic. Should be sharp-minded on these sort of things. You've got to be smarter, Lagan. You've got to start getting rugby league more. Why would you get a try or why would you go for a field goal when you can have Carl Flanagan run the ball on fifth tackle? You know, it astounds me that you thought otherwise. Anyway, 16-12 to Manly with 3 minutes to go the first half. Wanted I6 says, Dogs won yesterday. Let the Dragons win today. Let the upset continue. Would be cool. Would be cool, Wanted. That was wild yesterday, though. And that's the beauty of rugby league. That is the beauty of rugby league yesterday. You know, the Panthers are human. And the Dragons are the only team who have not won a game yet out of all the teams in the comp. Game on, boys. Go the Dragons, Sonny says. Mitchell says, surely we get a 10-point head start on Sunday after this. Mate, you're in second position. Don't you be complaining here, Tigers fan. My goodness me, we've got a Tigers fan complaining. Have a look at your success, mate. You're the most successful club nearly in the game. You haven't lost. The Panthers lost their last game. The Tigers won their last game. In a second, so maybe the form team of the competition. Might be the greatest team of all time. Call me a Tigers fan. Val Holmes! Oh, good run from Val to the 40 on third tackle. They go to Luciano Leilua, and Leilua at the 45. He'll get that offload away. He's looking for a good Supercoach score. Go, you spicy man, Luciano Leilua. Fourth tackle. Exactly right. Now it's only 5 field goals. Don't forget about the 11. It's only 5 now, Steve. You were on to something. Out of the right, Tyrell Sloan. Sloan gets it across here too. Set to 2. Set to 2 with a good run. He'll be at the 30 on fifth tackle. Good set. This end of the half has really changed around. The Dragons are playing some confident footy as we speak. Up it goes. Dragons chasing it through. Sloan comes through, but Tommy Trebojevic, oh, how good's he? Gets the ball with ease. Brendan says, I tipped the Dragons because the Hello Sport boys kept pulling Dragons cards in their pack openings. Proper omen. Second tackle now. They didn't get a witch this week, did they? Did they get a witch this week? Third tackle at 25. What country was she from again? Like Serbia or something? Croatia? Bulgaria? Something like that, you said? Crazy stuff. Fourth tackle now at 33. That's so funny, dude. Go out to Molly Olakawatu, and it's going to be fifth tackle at the 45. Max says, Manly will be kicking themselves if the Dragons win. Mate, they're kicking themselves already for the way... Oh, Olakawatu's gone down injured. God bless him. You don't like to see that. And Sloan picks it up at the 5, and he'll bring this play to the 10, to the 15, to the 20. Good, decent run back. But Olakawatu, take a little bit. He's wobbling. Manly won't like how they've ended this first half, that's for sure. They'll love how they started it, but also... And I think the Dragons aren't leading, because the Dragons had to try taking off him because Luke Brooks is a diving cat. Oh, it's gone backwards. He lost it, but then he did lose it backwards, and Luciano Leilua, he brings the ball out and taken down to the 40. Everyone says, this is starting to look like the Panthers-Bulldogs game. Sure, but the Panthers were the ones who came back and still lost. And 6 again for the Dragons at the halfway point on fourth tackle. Well, you've got 31 seconds. Field goal time. Come on. Come on. Field goal or penalty. Dragons all day. Out to Atkinson. Underneath to Tyrell Sloan. Sloan then gets it across here. Kyle Flanagan. Luciano Leilua. Leilua sets the inside. Gets it off with an offload to Kyle Flanagan. And they're at the 35. Take the field goal, you cats. Take it. Take it. Out to Halangahu. Kicks the ball over here. Damien Cook at the centres. Oh, Tom Trebojevic gets it. Second two. Second two. Oh, he's lost the ball over the line. Oh, no way. Oh, he's lost the ball over the line. It should have been a try to the Dragons. Oh, dude. Oh, my gosh. You should have been 16-16 with the kid to come. Oh, he caught it. And then Tom Trebojevic just does enough here to stop him. Oh, no, he drops it over the line, set it 2. That was actually, this is the most exciting thing we've seen from the Dragons in years, mate. They're actually playing some decent football this last 10 minutes. Oh, he's dropped it over the goal line. That was a fun first half there. Manly dominate the first 20. The Dragons dominate the second 20. We might be on for a game here. I think it's half time. They're just right now. Adam G's talking to Tom Trbojevic about something. Like, Lou at 50 super coach. Jeffy, I always believed in you, mate. I've always believed in you, mate. Always believed in you. Oh boy, half time. Well, take a breath, guys. Take a breath. Rugby league. It is given right now. Last night, today. Oh my gosh, rugby league is rugby leaguing. What a turnaround we've had so far, and hopefully we can keep firing up here for a good second half. Let's get into the team stats here at half time to see how it is shaping up overall. But guys, obviously hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and again, hopefully we can see this really fire up. It's actually at 59, by the way, Jeffy. Absolutely, actually 59. But all right, the stats. Dragons 12, Manly 16. Geez, they're unlucky not to be leading the Dragons. This is in Wollongong. The try scorers, Luchar Leilua and Jacob Little with 2 conversions for Val Holmes. And then for Manly, Ruben Garrick, Tom Trbojevic and Ruben Garrick again with Jamal Fogarty 2 from 3 on the conversions. So he's missed 1. And then we go to the possession. 53% possession to the Dragons, 47% possession to Manly. So that is interesting. The Dragons definitely had to have worked their way back into it in that last 20, but the 6 agains were coming against Manly, which was really helping that possession really build up for them. Time of possession, 14 minutes and 45 seconds for the Dragons is really healthy stuff. That is a good amount of possession, with Manly being at 12 minutes 28. So you're looking for a 25-minute threshold here. They're at 24, 26. Basically, over 27 minutes. That's pretty good amount of time possession for this game. You're seeing plenty of rugby league, and the Dragons, they're the ones with most of it right now. But also 12.5 is not too bad from Manly either. You would at least like them to be above the 12.5 mark, because then that would be the average of 25. But still, it's really healthy time possession overall in this game at the moment. Now, completion rate. Now, you've got to think. The Dragons have got 53% possession. They've also got a full 2 minutes and 17 seconds more time of possession, but their completion rate is not at the 80%. So the 80% is the marker that you are looking for. Dragons are at 75%, 21 from 28. That's not good. It's not awful, but it's not good enough. And Manly are at 85%. That's really good. 17 from 20, they're very happy with that. But what I'm trying to say here is 14 minutes, 40 time possession, 53% possession, and yet they're at 75% completion rate with 7 incomplete sets compared to 3 incomplete sets of Manly with far less ball. It's actually incredible to think of how much time possession they've got despite the fact of all those incompletions. You know, so it really does show you right now that the Dragons have the ball a lot, but they just are still making those errors, which is hurting them the most. Then you go to the runs department. 97 runs here for the Dragons, 819 run meters. That's not good. That is about 151 meters behind the 10 meters an average per run right now. That's not great there for the Dragons. You want to see that improve drastically, because Manly, they're at 92 runs for 890 run meters. So they have got 5 less runs for an extra 70 metres right now. Now, a little bit of a caveat here is that Manly have had a lot of breakaways. Their line break for their Ruben Garrick tries, the second try, was an 80-metre run. Right? So outside of that, it's pretty similar, but also Manly is still in the advantage there. But realistically, ultimately, that separation comes from the Garrick breakaway try. So this is very interesting because Manly are 30 metres behind the 10 metres average per run. The Dragons are 160 metres behind, 150 metres behind the 10 metres average per run. So there's a pretty significant gap there. Ultimately, Manly are winning the run meter department by a significant margin right now. It is really being helped by that massive line break try for Ruben Garrick that came off pathetic defence from the Dragons, but also Manly are just definitely in the lead. It's a lot closer than it suggests, though, is what I would say. Then you got the post-contact meters of 250 for the Dragons at 97, 235 for the Manly at 91. If you gave the extra 8 runs, you'd probably have Manly just in front in mind. I would say that Manly would be just in front, maybe about 250, 255. So equal or just in front. Then we go to line breaks, 2-2. So that is equal. Tackle breaks, 17 for Manly, 14 for the Dragons. It's actually pretty good there for Manly. That's really good. Only 14 missed tackles, whilst the Dragons usually give up like 20 to 25. So they're at 17. That's not too bad on themselves. Now, this is the killer here. Average set distance. 25 metres and under, you want to turn the stream off, it's pathetic. 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hitting the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is basically perfect. Manly are 44.28. That's really good. They're not making a great deal of errors. That's why they're at the 85% completion rate, which means it's not hurting their average set distance. 44.22 is really good. That's great. Getting close to the fantastic category there. You're not complaining with that at all. You're very happy with that. Dragons are at 29.25. So they are, now it's 30.34. So they've gone out of the disgusting category into the underwhelming category, but they're still on the precipice, right? It's really not good enough here from the Dragons. It is 14 metres in advantage for Manly right now. So not only are you looking at that line break for Manly, but you're also looking at the Dragons and saying, well, they're knocking the ball on early in tackles. They're, hold on 1 second. I want to see this. I've been called something. You put me in time for asking about the event you're streaming. I haven't put anybody in time out here, mate. One of the moderators obviously timed you out for some reason. But whatever, man. The guys are going to cry in the chat. I didn't even time you out. Somebody else has timed you out there. But I'm glad you've been timed out now anyway for whatever you've said before. Anyway, we're going to get back to the conversation. So anyway, the average set distance for the Dragons is just not good enough. It's about 14 metres separating as we currently speak. The Dragons need to improve that massively, because right now they're obviously knocking the ball on relatively early in sets, or that's what's really bringing them down overall. But they're also not having that massive line break, which is benefiting the Manly Eagles. So 14 metres definitely an advantage of Manly down. Dragons not good enough. Average play the ball speed. 3.19 seconds below is extremely fast. 3.2 to 3.39 is fast. 3.4 to 3.59 is average. 3.6 to 3.79 is slow. And 3.8 and above is extremely slow. The Dragons are at 3.5 seconds, so this is on the average category. This is just a normal range. It's nothing too spectacular, nothing too fast. It's not too slow. It's just normal. And then Manly are at 3.3 seconds. So that's in the fast category. That's right in the middle of the fast category. So Manly are playing the ball pretty speedy. But also, in the last 10 minutes of that first half, we saw the Dragons playing the ball pretty fast. So it was changing around. So I actually imagine that play the ball speed prior to the last 10 minutes was actually probably more so in the slow category to the extreme slow category. Because 3.5 would have been benefited from the really quick play the balls in those last 2-3 sets from the Dragons. So they're on the upwards trajectory, but that's still average, which shows that most of that first half was quite slow. Then you go to the offload, 6-3 of the Dragons. You go to the kick defusal of 75%, both sides, Manly and also the Dragons. Effective tackle percentage. This is interesting. Pretty close. Manly are in the lead though. So 85% and below is awful. 85% to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker, and 90% and above is basically perfect. 88.61 here for the Dragons. 179 tackles made for 17 missed tackles and 6 ineffective. So 179 is getting a little bit above the average of tackles made, but the 17 missed tackles is on the average of 15 to 17. It's not too bad. It's actually, that's not too bad overall. Like, it's on the average. It's not great, but it's not too bad, 17. And then the ineffective tackles are 6. The average is 5 to 7. They're right smack in the middle of that one. So, 6 ineffective tackles. Shamir, you can have 400 accounts, bro. You're not the first person to create 50 accounts, and you won't be the last one. So keep on subscribing. Keep on spamming with your accounts. We don't care, bro. You can we'll just keep hiding it. We couldn't give a shit, bro. You aren't the first, and you won't be the last to have no life. So, 6 ineffective tackles. 5 to 7 is the average. They're right in the middle of it. So 23 bad tackles across that first half with 179 tackles made. That is not too bad, but it's also just hitting the marker. You're pretty okay with it. And then you go to Manly, 89.3%. So they're getting close to the fantastic category, but they're still in the hit the marker category. 192 tackles made for 15 missed tackles and 8 ineffective. So it actually went up from the under on the 14 into the average now 15. They took off one from 16 because it updated to 16. Now they've taken it off to go to 15. So 15 missed tackles on the average. On the lower end, though, compared to the Dragons, and the ineffective tackles is actually above the average of 5 to 7. They're at 8 ineffective tackles. So they've actually both made 23 bad tackles here. The reason why Manly's percentage is a little bit better is because they've made 13 more tackles overall. They've made 13 more tackles overall, Manly. So it's pretty close in regards to everything else, though. Like, it's pretty close. The Manly are performing better defensively on an effective tackle percentage, but it is pretty close. And the negative play, 3 and below is really good. 4 to 6 is average. 7 above is awful. 3 for Manly is really good. You're pretty happy with that. They're not making too many errors. The Dragons are at 5, which is not as bad as they usually are, but it's still in the average category, getting close to the awful category. 5 is not what you want to be, so it's getting up there. But where Manly are struggling in this game is they're giving away a lot of penalties. They're very ill-disciplined. Penalties conceded is 6 to Manly, 1 to the Dragons. Ruck infringements is 4 to Manly, 2 to the Dragons, and the on report is 1 to Manly, 0 to the Dragons. So the reason why this game is close right now is actually because Manly have just been ill-disciplined. It really is. Because if you look across the entirety of the game, the only thing that's really standing out for the Dragons is their time of possession. And that's really about it. Like, overall, it's pretty close on a lot of markers, but the only thing that really stands out for them is amount of possession that they've had. And their defence is relatively equal to Manly. But the penalties conceded, the fact that Manly is still up 16-12 and the penalties conceded is effectively 10 to 3. Because you've got 6 penalties, 4 ruck infringements. That's the equivalent of a penalty just in a different area of the field. So it's 10 to 3 on indiscretions. That's what Manly are struggling with right now. Whilst the Dragons are still relatively struggling with those errors, and they are struggling in regards to the run meters. The run meters is pretty bad for the Dragons right now. So, look, based off of the stats, you would definitely be still leaning with Manly. You'd definitely be saying that they probably still get the job done here. But the Dragons have worked their way back into it. And if you're looking from an eye test of that first half, the upwards trajectory was very clearly the Dragons in that last 10 minutes. They were dominating that last 10 minutes, dude. They really came flying. Like, the Dragons were flying, which is something we have not seen from them at any stage of this season. So if the Dragons come in with the same intent in the second half, they can win this game. But also, if the Dragons don't have the same intent, they could lose this game by 50 still. You know, that is entirely possible as well. But that is the halftime analysis there, guys. And we get back to the chat. Mitch Chaw says, man, Dragons team total was down 12.5 and Manly's was up to 40 before the last 3 minutes. Not you, by the way. It really astounds me that people like think that they're going to come into the chat and create like 500 accounts and we're going to care. Why don't you just be normal and enjoy the game, get involved in the game? I don't even know what the guy was complaining about. He said that we put him in timeout for asking about the event you're streaming. Well, you wouldn't have been put in timeout for asking about it. There would have been a reason for it. There would have been a reason. So because he put Dragons plus 7.5, Dragons 7.5 plus, Dragons 7.5 plus. The reason you got timed out, mate, is because you're spamming. But also now the reason why I'm happy you got timed out is because you're a bit of a dickhead, really. You know, if you had just come back in and just put a normal comment like, do you reckon Dragons 7.5? I was going through the halftime stats. We would have replied to you like normal. But the reason why you originally got timed out was because you were spamming the chat. So it really is just simple stuff, man. It really is just simple stuff. But yeah, it's not really rocket science, to be fair. Nath says, cheers, Pete, to show my age. What did Pete say? Pete says, good one, Nath. What did Nath say? I'd call it Debbie Does Dragons. Well, how's the game been so far? Gamer Mel says, well, it's been quite enjoyable. Like, it's still been a typical Dragons game in a lot of ways, but it's also been quite enjoyable as well from both Manly and the Dragons. And it's close. Oh, no, Footy Dad. I know what you're doing. You've said top of the guy to write Storms in the chat. I know what you're doing, but you still do need to get timed out for 5 minutes, Footy Dad. I'm so sorry. I know what you're doing, but it's still Storms in the chat, and there is no S. And they said, little come on and fight us up. He needs to be a starter and not a benchy. Oh, Footy Dad. Oh, Brenton, you got to time him out. Oh, my gosh, Footy Dad. Come on. Come on, son. Oh, you should know by now, sir. You should know by now. David says, any feelings which team will hit a 50-pointer this weekend? 50-pointer this weekend? It's actually a really close weekend in a lot of ways, mate. If the Cowboys come in red hot on attack and the Broncos fall off without Reece Walsh, like, sure, but I don't think so. I still have the Broncos to maybe sneak it that game. Rabbitohs, Raiders, everyone's going to take the Rabbitohs. I actually feel the Raiders might get sneaky. Sharks, Roosters, there's no feedy bomb getting hit. Storm, Warriors, I don't think there's no feedy bomb getting hit, even though we have seen over the years the Storm have hit 50 multiple times against the Wires. Eels, Titans, either one of those could hit a feedy bomb. And Tigers, Knights, I don't think so. I don't think there's a feedy bomb hit this weekend. I don't think there is. 1,000% agree, Nate. Little has to start. Little's been fantastic. He's been fantastic. Okay, so Fatty, man, I'm not even going to reply to any more of your comments, man. It's not rocket science. If you still don't understand what was being said, that's your choice. If you want to come back in one of your fake accounts and talk like normal, feel free. Otherwise, we'll just keep hiding your accounts, man. It's just really that simple. So anyway, we're going to get back to the game here. 47% on the try predictor for the Dragons and Manly 53%. Steve says, agreed, start little. But the thing is, though, is that Damien Cook hasn't been bad, but he's just not been great. Damien Cook is a lot better this year than he was, say, last year. However, he's actually been pretty good in the centres today. I'm not going to lie. And Jacob Little's been amazing, and I've been calling for Little to start for years. So, I've been super happy with how this game has gone in regards to Little coming into that starting 9. And well, not starting 9, but he came into the 9, and they pushed Damien Cook to the centres. Actually, have really rated it from so far today. But let's see how the second half goes here, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe, and second tackle for the Dragons at the 20. Brenton is heartless. Dear me, you should have... oh, no. Was it... Yeah, Brett, you should have seen it during cricket streams when he first became a moderator. He was all over the shop. And there's a knock on here from the Dragons off the first set of the second half. A knock on from the Dragons. That is the worst thing to be seen. That would be very disappointing. Steve says, cut the personal digs. Nobody's forcing you to be here. Yeah, no. This when you're a content creator, man, you get stuff like this, man. Trust me, it's no stress, mate. Visa says Knights to put 50 on the Tigers. I can just feel it in my spidey senses, bro. So scrum here coming up. Scrum here and Manly now at the 40, and they bring it to the 35 on first tackle. Knights put 50 on the Tigers. I can just feel it in my spidey senses. No, you're a Knights fan. So they go out to the left-hand side at second tackle for Manly. They're 25 metres away here from the line. All right, Dragons. Well, you had a good end of the first half. Well, let's see if Manly can get back in and smash this beginning part of the second half to change it around and back in their favour. First tackle with a 6 again for Manly. Luke Brooks up to Ben Trebojevic, and he's going to be 10 metres away, 5 metres away here from the line. Second tackle. Try here would really just crush St George's spirit, man. They go Luke Brooks off to Simeone Leafi, and Leafi is going to be 3 metres away from the line. False hopes goes used. Yep, that is usually how it goes. Olakawatu back on the inside. Olakawatu goes in himself, taking down 2 metres out from the line. Forward tackle here, 2 metres away. Out the back to the 10, and Corey Waddle taken down 9 metres out from the line. They go out to the left. Short ball. Quick passing. Oh, Manly with a beautiful try. That was really nice. Oh, forward pass. Oh, that was a really nice try until it wasn't. Forward pass, and the Dragons get lucky. Luke Brooks, Ben Trebojevic. Look at the flick pass here from Kohler. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. If you call an AJ Brimson's one, you're calling that one, all right? You lucky Dragons fans. It was a forward pass from Manly. First tackle for the Dragons, and they're going to be at the 20. Training run for Manly. Well, this isn't an easy training run for them as we speak. Mitch choices do the penalties, you called it. It's what happens. The Dragons go to the right-hand side, and now they'll get that offload away to Jaden Stewart, then off to Lucian Leilua. And he'll get that ball to the 40 on third tackle. They go to Jaden Stewart, and Jaden Stewart is now going to be at the 45 on fourth tackle. And that is a really bad right eye there from Jay Trebojevic at the moment. I really hope that... Oh, Halangahu! Great run here to the 44. That was really good. So Jay Trebojevic will not be back here today. That's a loss on defense. Not so much on a tap, but a loss on defense! And Lehigh White, I guess they pulled the 15. Interesting what happened there with Luke Brooks, and I don't know who the other the Dragons player was that was involved, but it was a little bit of a collision. Overall, 1-1 strip here from Little. He's got it. He's got it. It's a 1-1 strip from Jacob Little at 20. All right, Dragons on the attack here. Jonathan says Manly can score from 100 metres. Well, they've already scored from basically 100 metres today, but Lucian Leilua out the back to Tyrell Sloan. Tyrell Sloan gets away from one, and then he's taken out of the 18 on second tackle. Dragons on the attack now. That was a great... Jacob Little, what a game he's having right now. Blake Laurie to the 15 on third tackle. Little again. Oh, he's looking the goods. Jacob Little to Daniel Atkinson. Atkinson, Lucian Leilua. Leilua, 9 metres out from the line. Yeah, I thought there was maybe a little bit of a knock on there too, but the referees have missed it. Fourth tackle at the 15. Atkinson gets it across to Halangau. Atkinson, Flanagan, Chancey set to 2, taking it to the 5, good defense. Oh, no, Manly! Oh, try to the Dragons! Setu 2 slips over. Setu 2 slips over, and Manly, for some reason, don't make the tackle, and he just waltzes over the line. It's a try time for Setu 2, and it's a tie game, 16-16. Again, guys, the Dragons were down 16-0 in this game. They were down 16-0 in this game. Jacob Little's the one who starts this off, though, with that one-on-one strip at the 20. And the Dragons, they may be about to take a lead for nearly the first time in the season. No, obviously they've taken leads before, but a lead since the Titans came at least. What a momentum swing from that forward pass. Well, the momentum swing ultimately comes from the back end of that first half. Setu 2 slips over there, and then no Manly player makes a tackle. Beautiful stuff there. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. So Setu 2 ties it up at 16-16. Little should be permanent hooker. Damien Cook to play maybe halfback. No. 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 No, no, you were going so well. Jacob Little hooker was such a great comment, and then you just ruined it right. No, did I just read Damien Cook into halfback? No. Damien Cook halfback, Carl Flanagan 5'8". You're going to give me a heart attack, mate. Valentine Holmes has kicked the conversion. It's 18-16 the Dragons with 34 minutes to go. Pete Starr, no, mate. No, mate. Oh, you were doing so well, mate. So 34 minutes left here in the game. It's 18-16 to the Dragons. Jonathan says, if Manly loses, I'm done with betting on teams. Well, I did say this was a game that I just wouldn't be betting on. Like, I tipped the upset here of the Dragons, but this is a game that I wouldn't have been betting on. Because I didn't trust Manly yet after one win. And obviously you don't trust the Dragons when they haven't won. I don't know, let's hear Pete out, guys. Yeah, Brighton, I don't know about hearing Pete out with Damien Cook as a halfback. So Dragons now will get this ball to the 13 on first tackle. Manly, you got to fire up right now. You got to fire up. And Moses Sully brings it out to the 20 on second tackle. And Halangahu out to the 30. This is a very interesting setup game right now. It is a very interesting setup game. Oh, sorry. By the way, I keep calling Halangahu. It's actually Hamasele. My bad, guys. I keep saying Halangahu. Why do I keep saying Halangahu? He's not even in the team here today. So the Dragons, Daniel Atkinson will kick this ball down to the 10. That's my bad, guys. Dragons are winning. Now, Blaze, don't let your bias show. Mate, big Dragons fan, me. Massive Dragons fan, me. First tackle now for Manly, and they're at the 20. Mojito says, who do you like to win outright? Well, before the game, I tipped an upset of the Dragons, and so I guess I'm going to still take the team of the Dragons, but Manly did lead 16-0. They've just fallen away, and the Dragons have fired up a little bit here, which has been good to see. I don't know if there's enough value in the game right now, mate. From a live betting perspective, I don't know if there'd be enough value because you wouldn't trust either of these teams to win as we speak. Luke Brooks is at the 45. The bench Boyvich gets it inside the attack and after the fifth tackle on the 45. Yeah, Gula on the wing, Damien Cook to halfback, and let's get Blake Laurie in the fullback. I like it. Now we're talking Dragons. Now we're talking. Listen up, funner. And Fine brings his ball to the 15 on first tackle. Gula to fullback. No, I like a little bit of Blake Laurie in the fullback, mate. Put Gula on the wing. I reckon that's his best spot. Wait, isn't this a Dragons fan club? Apparently so. Setu 2. He's been good. Can't believe he got dropped for a couple of weeks, eh? Third tackle for the Dragons. And this is a quick play the ball again. Daniel Atkinson's been having a really good game in this number 6. Really good game. They go to Jaden Sewer. And Sewer gets the offload away. Sloan, then he gets the offload away. And it's going to be Carl Flanagan. He can go to the left. He gets it off to Val Holmes. And Val Holmes steps. And Val Holmes will try to get the offload, but he can't. Fit tackled at the halfway point. Levi says, Adam G, Dragons best halfback. Manly have been very disciplined today, Levi. They've been very disciplined today. Tom Dvojevic brings his ball to the 20. Also, by the way, Levi, like, you can't really be complaining about the refereeing when you were gifted Luke Brooks diving. Like, he dived before there was contact made! Tom Dvojevic nearly taken over the sideline. Wow. Good tackle there from the Dragons. You literally, a Dragons try was taken away because Luke Brooks dived before there was contact made. And then they called it as an obstruction. It was incredible. 30 minutes to go here of the game here, folks. Hit that like button and subscribe. Dragons lead 18-16, but Manly in the attacking half now. And then now they give it across to Luke Brooks. 6 again. Lee Hobawada. He's going to be at the 42 on first tackle. Gets the offload away, sorry. Luke Brooks is going here. Luke Brooks at the 25. Tolata Quota at the 25. Gets the offload away. They're still moving. Ben Trebojevic, they're already in the attack in 10. Dragons defensively falling off a cliff. Manly on the attack. Jamal Fogarty 13 metres away. He'll fake it to Corey Waddle. Off the tunnel of Paseka. Paseka taken down to the 5. Good tackle there from Lushan Leilua. Second tackle here. They go short to Kobe Hetherington, and Hetherington 3 metres out. Third tackle. Come on, Manly. Fire up. It needs something now. Simpkin across. Luke Brooks. Bad defense from Atkinson. And Tolatiao. He's lost the ball. Oh my gosh. Setu 2 is having a stellar of a game. How on earth has Setu 2 stopped this try? They're going to go to... Oh, it's going to be 6 again anyway. So Manly will receive penalty. They may take the 2. But... it's going to be offside against Atkinson here, but I can't believe Collar hasn't scored here. Setu 2 has stopped this, and that's incredible. That's a massive tackle from Setu 2. How has Collar not scored? That close to the line, that is unbelievable from Setu 2. That is an incredible try saver, man, because he's come up with that ball too. But it's going to be a penalty to Manly. They may take the 2 here. Joshua says, just joined. How's Sloan looking at fullback? Nothing spectacular. I'm keen for Broncos versus Cowboys, so my heart rate drops a bit. Yeah, well, this is a fired-up game at the moment. There's no try here for Kohler, but it will be a penalty to Manly because of the offside to Atkinson. That was a gift, but Dragons' first try, you can't tap and go from an offside penalty. Second try, Little didn't even touch the chalk. Little definitely did touch the chalk, 100 billion%. I'll listen to the first one, but the Little 1 billion% touched the chalk. 1 million% that was a try to Jacob Little. So I would argue, if you're going to base that off in regards to the quick tap, which I'm pretty certain you might be right there, but... if you're going to base off that, it would be 1-1 then, so it's fair enough. 6 again here for Manly. Because Jacob Little, there's no doubt about that being a try. No doubt at all. So Manly now, 5 metres out from the line. Tanya Lapaseka, first tackle. They roll it back here to Simpkin. Simpkin to Olakawatu, but they all monster him at the 2. Olakawatu and Leilua going at it here. Well, he's going to have to go back to the 10 now. I don't know what... Why would you do that, Olakawatu? Just take the tackle at the 10. Oh, no, they're going to just put him back at the 2. Okay. So, second tackle at the 10. Jamal Fogarty at the back of Kobe Hetherington. They spread it out to Luke Brooks. Luke Brooks then quick pass Tom Trebojevic. Oh, big defense from Moses Sully and Daniel Atkinson. They drag him back to the 20, to the 15 on third tackle. They go to Luke Brooks at the 20. Then off to Kobe Hetherington. And Hetherington is going to be 14 metres out, fourth tackle. 29 minutes left of the game. Manly on the line. They go to the left. Jake Simpkin. Tom Trebojevic. Big tackle there, but big offload. Knock on Ben Trebojevic. I didn't think that offload needed to come from Tom. So knock on Manly, and the Dragons going to get the ball at the 10. Royal Grand Majesty says, I hope every game this week will be an upset. I'd like that because the Titans are the underdogs. They are. Don't forget, guys, we've got Broncos Cowboys right after this. But we've got a big game in a moment. It's going down to the wire. This has been a much improved performance from the Dragons outside of the first 20 minutes. The first 20 minutes was diabolical. First 20 minutes was diabolical, typical Dragons. Outside of that first 20 minutes, it's actually been pretty good to watch. 6110 says, how is Hopeway looking? Do you think he'll get over it? I'm out, so I can't watch the game. Well, right now, Manly haven't been great, to be completely honest with you, outside of that first 20 stanza. It's entirely possible for him to score, but it's not an easy one by any means because the momentum for mine is still currently with the Dragons, and it has been since the 30th minute. So they go out to Hame Sele, and Hame Sele to Blake Laurie. He'll be fourth tackle at the 40. Lucas, I know Sloan makes dumb mistakes and errors, but in my opinion, he makes the Dragons play a hell of a lot better when he's on the pitch. I will agree with it. Fifth tackle here at the 50. Jacob Little has been your player of the match for the Dragons, though, 100%. Like, he has changed this game. He has 1,000,000% changed the game since coming on. Wowee. He needs to be your starting 9, man. Oh, it's a big hit. Lee Hubawada taken back to the 10 here on first tackle. Toby Couchman's just manhandled him all the way back to the 5. Wow. And now second tackle for Jason Saab. He'll be at the 10. Just don't give away a penalty, you Dragons. And this is a really good start to your defensive set. Ruben Garrett brings it to the 20 on third tackle. Lee Habawade punches so much above his weight, gets a lot of metres off tough carries. Yeah, Ola Kawatu, he's having a big battle out here on this right-hand side. You could have argued a 6 again there. I'm surprised they didn't call it. Jamal Fogarty up to 35. He'll get it off to Taniela Paseka. And Paseka gets the offload away to Ola Kawatu. He'll get the ball away to Garrick, and that's a knock-on there from the Dragons. That is a knock-on from the number 20, which is Fianay. And set restart. They're away here. Kobe Hetherington. Taken down by Moses Sully. It was a great run from Kobe Hetherington, though. 33 metres out, 0 tackle. Dragons unlucky, but Manly capitalise. They go to the left, but now you need to capitalise now. Benchwevich slips over to the 22. First tackle for Manly. They get it across to Luke Brooks. You need to capitalise here, Manly. Luke Brooks steps and taken down to the 10. Good run there from Brooks. Second tackle. You have to capitalise, though, Manly. You've had plenty of ball here in this area. 6 again here for Manly. 6 again. The ball hits the grass, but then Fogarty hits it with his foot and picks it up and just gets taken down to the 10 on first tackle. Fun game, though. It is a fun game. Still a lot of errors, but a fun game regardless. Oh, Corey Waddle nearly right through. Second tackle at the 5. Jake Simkin, he'll go short ball. Hetherington, try time for Manly underneath the post, and they will take the lead 20-18 with a kick to come. And it all comes off the back of the Dragons touching the ball at the halfway point. It was a great defensive set, but because Manly pushed the ball one pass out to the right, it gets touched there by the Dragons, and then repeats the set. And then Manly, they've had the ball down here a lot. They've just been down here, and they do finally get over here to take the lead. So 20-18 with a kick to come. It's about to be 22-18 any moment now. Lushan Leilua is already on 85 points on Supercoach, by the way. Lushan Leilua is on 85 points on Supercoach with 25 minutes to go of the game. I'm pretty happy with that. Fun game because of the errors. I think fun game because it's close and you just don't know how to trust either one of these teams, really. You don't know how to trust either one of these teams in regards to getting the dub in this one. Because I wouldn't call it fun when you haven't won a game all year. It's just stressful. Yeah, but I'm not a Dragons fan, Cosrips, and most people here aren't Dragons fans. We do have plenty of Dragons fans on the channel, but I'm not a Dragons fan, and I'm not a Manly fan. So for me, as a neutral, this is great. Not for the best reasons, but still great. I've still been enjoying it. Dragon, please win at least once. Well, no, Sean, there's still 24 minutes to go through the game. You are going to be down by 4. But it's been interesting. Leilua is having a really underrated season in great form with shit halves. Just Dragons have been shocking. No one is paying attention. Yeah, that's why I picked him up in Supercoach, man, because I do think he's been really good. He's been the main player for the Dragons that has been given a shit. And there hasn't been a great deal of Dragons players given a shit, but Lushan Leilua every week, even Jaden Silver's form's not been great, but Lushan Leilua has been caring every week. You know, his base stats on Supercoach at the moment are like 70. And I don't base my opinion on players off of Supercoach, just to clarify. However, it is something to also benefit there. But Lushan Leilua is definitely one of the highest work rates in the team, which is crazy when you compare that to 5 years ago when he was one of the lazier players in the NRL. But he's been unbelievable this year. Jonathan says your footy IQ is top notch. I do my best, man. Like, at the end of the day, I look at it from one lens, and some people look at it from another lens. But no, I have a pretty good idea. I watch every single game, so I have an idea. That doesn't mean I'm always right, but also doesn't mean I'm wrong. First tackle in for Manly at the 15. Hamala Kawatu try. He has not scored, Sen. He has not scored. It's been a big battle. He's just absolutely pumped off Val. Second tackle. It's been a big battle for him down this right-hand side. He's finally pulled his head in, eh? At least so far, he's been able to put the mongrel into helping the team instead of the dumb shit. 100% agree, yeah. 100% agree. Third tackle for Manly, the 35, Luke Brooks. They get it up to Tom Trbojevic. Tom Trbojevic underneath down to Tolu Takwala. Don't let him get away. He'll be taken out of the 42, fourth tackle. Fitter, I think, too. Lushan Leilua is definitely fitter now than he was 10 years ago. And Manly taken down now at the 45. Not 10 years ago, 5 years ago or so. 3 to 5 is what I should say. It was Cowboys, yeah? I think it was Cowboys. Tyrell Sloan gets the ball to 10, and he brings his ball out and takes it to the 20. Decent run, though. Well, that is... Well, probably should have been a 6 again because it was just outside the 20, but it should have been a 6 again. Dragons now to the 30 on second tackle. You've got to find a way to score again, St George. Yeah, it was Cowboys. Was he Dragons, Cowboys, Dragons? Leilua. They get to Hamish Stewart, and Hamish Stewart to the 45 on fourth tackle. Or was it Tigers, Cowboys, Dragons, maybe? I can't remember. Maybe it was Tigers, Cowboys, Dragons. Moses Sully at the 40. Is it raining or is it the fireworks? I think it was the fireworks. It doesn't... it's not raining. Yeah, it's definitely like fireworks or something. Dragons chasing it through. The ball bounces back. Still Dragons ball. Jacob Little, it's still fit tackle, I think. No, it's 6 again. Oh, touch Manly. 6 again over the Dragons. 0 tackle at the 15. Out of nowhere, the Dragons. Here's your chance. Jaden Sewer, 5 metres out of the line. Jaden Sewer, 3 metres out of the line. Raiders. Was Lucha Leilua Raiders? I swear. Or maybe no, you're thinking of Joey Leilua, maybe. Was Lucha Leilua also Raiders? That feels odd to me. Second tackle here, out the back to Flanagan. Flanagan to Emre Gula, and Gula is going to be 5 metres out. Yeah, went Dragons, Tigers, Cowboys, and back to Dragons. I think you're thinking about Jonathan. Not Jonathan, I think you're thinking about... 1 second, right inside. Atkinson gets it out to Setu 2. Setu 2 still running here. Cuts back onto the inside. He's 10 metres out. He's 5 metres out. Fourth tackle now, 3 metres away from the line. I think he's thinking about Joey Leilua. Fourth tackle. They go Daniel Atkinson off to... Hamish Stewart, Carl Flanagan runs it on fourth, this time not fifth. Impressive there. Impressive to see that Carl Flanagan decided to run it on fourth rather than fifth this time. Now Daniel Atkinson puts his ball up into the corner. Here's a good chase from the Dragons. Well, there's an escort. He's blocked him off of the run there. Oh, to knock on Manly. Anyway, ball don't lie. I think they've missed an escort there. It's going to be a knock on. No, they are going to call penalty to the Dragons. Yeah, correct call. Correct call. We called that before the referee even thought about it. It took him about 10 seconds to call that. There was an escort. He originally called the knock-on, but he's come back for the penalty. And you're not going to take the 2, obviously, but 22 to 18, you're going to get a fresh set 10 metres out. Penalty try, you wish, mate. Emre Gula is 5 metres out from the line. Yeah, when Dragons, Tigers, Cowboys, then back to Dragons, yeah. So out to Carl Flanagan to Blake Laurie, and Laurie is going to be 8 metres away from the line. 20 minutes to go here of the game, folks. Hit that like button and subscribe. We've got Broncos, Cowboys right after this. Jacob Little to Daniel Atkinson. No, Carl Flanagan. Now Daniel Atkinson. Tyrell Sloan. 4 metres out from the line. Third tackle. And they'll get it out to Daniel Atkinson. Atkinson gets it across to Hamish Stewart. Hamish Stewart runs this ball hard to the line at the 8. He was looking for an offload, couldn't get it. Fourth tackle. They get it to Emre Gula. Gula at the back here to Carl Flanagan. Lucha Leilua. Leilua to Val Holmes. Gets the offload away. Ball still in the field of play. Oh, they're going to say knock on, are they? I'll challenge this. They're calling knock on. I'd challenge that. I don't think that was a knock on. He threw the ball out the back. Was that a knock on? I'd like to say that again. Leilua. Oh, unless they're saying that was a forward pass, but I don't think he called forward pass. I think he said that was a knock on from Val. Oh, the Leilua pass wasn't even forward. Oh, when you look at it from that angle, it didn't even look forward. But from the behind angle, it looked like it might have been. Okay, well, that's interesting. Okay, so it's going to be Manly ball here at the 10. Manly, they survive. He called forward. No, I understand that now. Interesting that they're really, really heavily emphasising the call on 4 passes now since the game last week. Bucks is deaf forward. I don't know, man. Again, people look at 4 passes and don't realise it's out of the hands. So was it out of the hands forward or was it out of the hands backwards? It's not about how the pass actually goes. It's about the hands. Third tackle now at the 30. So they go to the right-hand side and Manly get this ball to Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty runs it himself and he'll be taken down to 40. Good run from Fog. Fourth tackle. And now off to Olakawatu, and they'll get this ball here to the 50. 19 minutes left here. Oh, Dragons, don't lose another one by a close margin. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it, could you? Tyrell Sloan's going to grab this ball here at the 10. And going to need something big here, Sloan. He will run the ball back to the 20. Just don't make an error. To be fair, though, nowadays even the refs don't care about how it comes out of the hands. That's true, Lucas, yeah? It is seeming like we are losing the concept of out of the hands, and it's more so coming down to how the ball looks as a pass in general, rather than how it actually is coming out of the hands. Val Holmes, strong run to the 35. Lucky he didn't drop that ball just then. Jess says, can you explain what it means by the hands, please? So if the ball is coming out of the hands backwards, it doesn't matter how far the ball goes forwards. Because if it's coming out of the hands backwards, that is a fair pass backwards, right? And then it comes down to the momentum and all that kind of jazz. Tyrell Sloan here, good run. Gets his ball to the 33 on... arguably a 6 again there, but they're not going to call it. Daniel Atkinson puts that ball up into the air. The chase through is decent. Tom Dvojevic is there. Knocked back from the Dragons. Hamish Stewart. Emre Gula, Lujalua, he'll kick the ball through, too hard, oh, dude, anything smaller from Lujalua and it's a try, oh, dude, anything smaller of a grubber from Leilua, they should have put the ball through the hands, though. Why did he kick that? If you just put the ball through the hands, the Dragons would have scored in the corner. They would have scored in the corner if they put the ball through the hands, but instead he kicked the ball a little bit too hard. Damien Cook is on the bench here, I don't know why. He was actually pretty good in the centres, to be fair. It's really not too bad. Brenton has nearly had 2 tries here from Gubbers today, Lucian Leilua. Lucas says, screw me, do the Dragons practice overlaps in training? Again, yeah, they've done this multiple times where they've actually got the overlap. They had 3-on-2 on the outside and they decided to kick it. And again, if the kick was any shorter, it would have been a try, but obviously a little bit too hard there from the back rower who you wouldn't typically expect it to kick. So like right inside, that was his previous kick was actually really good. That one, not so much. 4 tackle now at the 45. This game went from 0 to 100 in terms of entertainment, definitely not skill-wise. Not necessarily skill-wise, but just entertaining factor. It's really fun to watch. Ola Kawatu taken down to the 30 on 5th tackle. They go to Jamal Fogarty. And Fogarty, Tom Dvojevic coming through. This is important here. Sloan. It's a knock-on from Tom Dvojevic. And Jacob Little will get this ball at the 10. It'll be 0 tackle. Garrick, don't even bother trying to strip it, mate. It was a knock-on from Dvojevic. All right. They get this ball across quickly to Setu 2. Strong run here. He's at the 20. He'll get the... He's still going here himself. Setu 2. He's still going. He's found space. He's at the 35. The 40. The 45. What a run from Setu 2 to the 50. It's now first tackle at the 50. This game is just crazy. It's crazy right now. They go to Moses Sully, who is at the 35 on the 45 on the Manly side of the field. The Dragons. Daniel Atkinson. Atkinson gets it at the back to Tyrell Sloan. Sloan steps again, and that's a lock-on from Sloan. That's so bad, bro. That's so bad. That's liability behaviour, Sloan. I know you're trying hard, mate, but you can't be just dropping that ball there at the 40 when you've got the momentum. And now you've given Manly back the momentum in this game. That's really poor there from Tyrell Sloan. It puts his team under so much pressure. First tackle here at the 50. They go to Jamal Fogarty, then off to Kobe Heathering. No, that's Ethan Bullimore, and Bullimore is at the 44 on second tackle. They go out to the left, off to Luke Brooks. Luke Brooks hit at Tom Trbojevic. At the very least, Dragons fans, you're at least watching an entertaining product this week compared to recent weeks where it's been triple. It's not been great quality, but also at least it's not like just a blowout like a 32-0 to the Cowboys, right? 4th tackle now for Manly. They're 25 metres away. Luke Brooks gets it to Tom Trbojevic. Tom Trbojevic gets it off here. Liam Awade. Try time for Manly. And unfortunately, Tyrell Sloan, that is all on you. Giving up that knock on at the 40 when it was second tackle is unfortunately the problem that has arisen for, which has created this, especially late on the tackle count there down the left hand side. Manly will get it, but Tyrell Sloan, there was just no need to try and offload that ball, man. No need at all, and that put their team under pressure, and then Manly just got to the other end of the field. Tom Trbojevic to the 20. He'll then go and get a good pass to Lee Hopewada, and Hopewada will step on the inside and he will score. So it's an 8-point game. Kick doesn't really matter too much here, but I guess it would make it 2 tries rather than a converted try and a penalty. Buck says Manly got this in the bag now. No, there's still 14 minutes to go of the game. But also, it's good for Manly. 70 mistakes. A lot of mistakes, Miss Shaw, but this is what you would expect from this game. A lot of mistakes. But, look, the Dragons, they gave it a crack. There's still plenty of time left here, but they're going to have to score in the next 8 or so minutes. Looks like Sloan's heading to England. Look, it's not been his best outing here. That knock-on is just so brutal, man. That knock-on at that area was just so brutal. Manly's first try and consequently the long-range second try also came from a slow mistake. I wouldn't say that the long range try for Garrick was his problem. Like that's the winger's problem on the left hand side, which I think is sector 2, but sector 2's been pretty good today outside of that. Oh, look at the Dragons fan getting into him on the sideline there. Jamal Fogarty here will make the kick, and it will be a 10-point game. 28 points to 18 with 13 minutes to go here of the game. 10 points the difference, Dragons. You've got to find a way to do something here. You just got to find a way to break through, and quickly. But it has been a fun game regardless. I don't know how much longer Sloan's going to last in the NRL. Look, I agree with you, man. I agree with you. It's been a rough one for him today. Never would have happened without the first try. What are we referring to with the first try? So Manly will get the ball here at the 15. All you got to do is complete this set. We're seeing a very common trend of teams knocking the ball on after points. And they go out to the left to Jason Saab, and Saab now to the 30 on second tackle. Sloan's a better winger, I reckon. Yeah, but we've seen a really good game out of Setu 2 today. He's been incredible. Who's the other Dragons winger? Setu 2 and Jason... not Jason Saab. Tuipulotu. Tuipulotu got injured. But there's no fullback. It's a 40-20 attempt here, but Sloan will get back for it at the end goal. Run the ball back hard, and don't you dare make an error, Sloan. He'll get the ball to the 10 on first tackle. Now someone needs to get back in. Damien Cook is about to come back onto the field. Get that ball to Fionney. Fionney will be at the 15. Could have had Valentine Holmes at fullback maybe. Val's not a fullback anymore, man. He never really was a fullback, to be fair. Setu 2 now gets his ball to the 18 on third tackle. Yeah, you can see the Dragons are slowing down. They need like a penalty or a 6 again or something to really get a bit of a momentum, because right now they just don't have anything left in the locker. Hope the next game is just as good. That would be nice. Broncos Cowboys belter. Whenever they're belters, that is great. Emre Gula, Damien Cook with the offload, then off to Daniel Atkinson. Atkinson right inside to Jaden Sewer. Jaden Sewer's going. He gets the offload away to Moses Sully, and Sully is the 42 on fit tackle. At least they're throwing the ball around a little bit. Damien Cook off to Atkinson, and Atkinson puts that ball up, the chase through. No one even close to getting there. And Tom Trbojevic picks that ball up at the 25, brings it to the 30. And Manly just got to complete that set from here. Sloan plays like it's always fit tackle. That was the problem the Broncos had up until last year. They played every tackle like it was fit tackle. And then they learnt that wasn't the way to win games. Sloan needs to learn that too, because you're right. The offload is what killed you in that last try. So Manly at the 50, off to Ethan Bullimore. Bullimore fourth tackle now at the 44. 10 minutes to go here at the game, folks. Hit that like button and subscribe. We've got Broncos Cowboys right after this. Luke Brooks gets it to Ben Trbojevic, to Tom Trbojevic. He gets it to Tolotau Kuola, and Kuola at the 30. Wow, I don't know why he's called hell there. I think Kuola should have been able to continue. I thought the tacklers fell off. And now Manly. There is an injury for a Dragons player in the backfield right now. God bless him. Sloan, this is important. That is going to be knocked on from Manly. So Dragons bought the 10. Elias says, Rip Dragons and Fino. Yeah, well, right now they're looking at an 0-6 unless they can have a turnaround in this next 10 minutes. It's only a 10-point game, but they need to try in the next 5 to make it a good one. JC blowout pending. Yeah, I think there is some positives to take from this game compared to other games, but JC will definitely still blow up. Damien Cook, then off to Emre Gula, and Gula pushes off a couple. He'll get the offload away to Jaden Sewer, and Jaden Sewer to the 30 on third tackle. The players you can't have a crack at: Lucian Leilua, Jacob Little. Oh, 1 second. Sloan to Val Holmes. Val Holmes steps inside. He will get the ball to the 44. And set to 2. Oh, they're going to challenge this. But I think this is just actually a knock-on. I think it is just a knock-on, but they're going to challenge it, yeah. Sam says, this is why they froze all contract talks. Next coach can pick a better roster. Back it. Back it. Back it. This is very important that this is a penalty, Dragons. Otherwise, Manly probably go and win this 13+. They probably score on the back of this. And Val Holmes. Oh, Jamal has grabbed at that ball with his right hand. And he has pulled down on it. This could actually be a strip. He has put his hand on the ball there. He's got his hand over it. Oh, I don't know, man. Like, he has pulled that ball out. But anyway, they're going to say that it's an unsuccessful challenge. They're going to say it's Manly's ball there. But I think that Jamal knows what he's doing. I think he knows what he's doing there. I think that's smart play from Jamal. But I think that probably should have been a strip. But I think that's smart play from Jamal because he knows what he's doing there. Bunker doesn't like common sense. You know what? Dragons only down by 10 to Fosball. Always knew Shane Flano was the man for the job. You know about that. With a new fullback and halfback playing with the Broncos, I'm kind of confident Cowboys should get the job done. Cowboys aren't that great of a team, but like they against the Broncos, yeah, sure. Against the Broncos, with Reece Walsh and that out, sure. But I also still fancy the Bronx to find a way to do something. Good old inconsistent Bunker. Well, it's like his hand's on the ball and the ball's come out whilst the hand has come down with the ball. Like Jamal knows what he's doing. Second tackle now for Manly. They're 33 metres away from the line. 9 minutes to go here. You cannot give up a try here, Dragons. Otherwise, it's just going to be a really sad scene at the gong. Third tackle. They're 25 metres away. Jake Simpkin to Ethan Bullimore. Bullimore to Taylor Paseka. And Paseka is going to be 18 metres out. Knock on from Simpkin, unfortunately. So it's going to be Dragons ball to 20. You've always got to expect the ball there, but the ball did come rocketing towards him, to be fair. It came rocketing but towards Jake Simpkin. Eight and a half to go. To be fair, like I feel like Sloan's had such a rough one here that you really could be starting to consider trying Val Holmes again in the fullback, even though it's not great. But you could, I guess, consider it. You could consider trying to get him into that fullback position, even though I don't think it'll work out for him. And Ray Gula brings his ball here to the 20 on first tackle. Remember when you said there was no value betting when Dragons went... Oh, there's a penalty to the Dragons here. Remember when you said there was no value betting when Dragons went up? It was the perfect time to completely load up on Manly. They're just saying... Anyways, it's been tough for a Dragons fan today as well. I disagree with you. I think that there was no trust at all on the game at that point. Manly have come back to win this game, but at the end of the day... Well, they would have been both pretty even with Dragons maybe slightly being favourites. I don't think that Manly are a trustworthy team to say load up on them. I think that you're going to lose more money thinking that way than you are going to win money. But in this game here today, it's looking likely to come off for them. But also I think you're going to lose way more money in that thought process than you're going to win money on the long term because Manly are nowhere near a trustworthy team. And even Manly fans could agree with me in regards to the way that we've seen this game here today. Damien Cook here to Hamish Stewart to Carl Flanagan. Flanagan, Leilua underneath here to Tyrell Sloan, taking out the 15. And he'll be third tackle, Dragons. You got to score here. Carl Flanagan at the 10. He'll get it out to Daniel Atkinson. Quick passing. That might go to the sideline. No, so the 2 gets it. It's back at the 25, though. And he will get taken down at the 23 on fourth tackle. And now Jaden Sewer off to Atkinson, then to Hamish Stewart. Hamish Stewart here, 18 metres away. You really need a 6 again or a try here. Lua at the back. Tyrell Sloan. That is awful. You can't blame Sloan for that, but like that was just awfully executed from the Dragons, bro. That was awfully executed. So it's going to be Jason Saab who's going to be taken down now at the 15 on first tackle. Dragons have improved heaps. I disagree. I think this is very similar to what we've seen across the first 5 weeks. But they're still just all over the shop, really. The errors have still been a problem. The penalties have still been a problem. Actually, the penalties haven't been too much of a problem today. But, like, the errors have still been a problem, bro. They've still got 10 errors in the game. Manly had a lot in the second half too, to be fair. But, no, like, this is a very similar stat line to what we've seen across all their weeks. Fifth tackle for Manly at the 40, and Luke Brooks is going to kick this ball up here, and it'll be Fine who gets this ball at 20. 6 minutes to go here the game. Our usual game plan, snatch and defeat from the jaws of victory. Yeah, sure, but I don't think that this was like a guaranteed. There was no, like, at any point did it look like it was just going to be a Dragons win, but at some point they did look like the better team in the game. Jaden Sewer brings it out of the 30 on third tackle. Play on is the call there, despite that the arms being pretty high up around the neck there. 4th tackle at the 45. And Jonathan, we're going to be seeing you because there's only one S in Storm. Carl Flanagan to Tyrell Sloan. Sloan out the back into Val Holmes. Val Holmes underneath to Fianna, and Fianna will be at the 45th tackle. Dragons, you've got to get a bit of a move on here. Off to Flanagan. Need a chase. No one's really going to be there. It was a good kick that if you had to put pressure on it, it would have been a tough one. But no one really puts the pressure onto it. So Manly now, Lehigh Bawade, he'll get this ball to the 30. 2nd tackle. I want to see how Tom Duffy goes to the Broncos. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the Broncos play tonight. 5 minutes left here. So, Lucian Leilua right now is on 89 points. Tyrell Sloan's on 50 points, so take that. I'd take it considering he's not had a great game. 4th tackle at the 50. Now, Luke Brooks to Ethan Bullimore, and Bullimore to the 45. Good work to hold that ball there, Bullimore, because that was some good tackling. He has lost the ball. He has lost the ball there. They're going to probably challenge this, but I thought... No, they're not going to challenge it. No, they are going to... They may as well. You've got a challenge to throw anyway. There's no strip here or anything, Dragons, but I thought that was amazing for him to hold the ball, and then he did not. I don't know about Manly 13 plus here, Nath. I think that ship may have sailed. He did the hard part and then just loses the ball. That's just a loose carry. They may say this is against the Dragons though, but it's not like he's doing anything to stop it. They're going to say it's a penalty. I think it's harsh, but it's like, sure. I think it's harsh, but sure. The hand does dislodge it, but at the end of the day, that it wasn't a deliberate action, and Bullimore himself was just a loose carry. Like, it really was just a loose carry. But anyway, I think they may decide to take the 2 here. There's a consideration for it, because they would go up by 12. I don't know. It will take some time off the clock as well. No, they're going to go for the try? Okay, fair enough. So maybe that 13 plus is still on here, Nath. Phil says, push Val to one of the halves. Next game would improve. I don't think Val is in the halves. I think if you're going to put him anywhere, it would be fullback, but also I don't really rate him in the fullback based on his time as the Cowboys too. So first tackle now for Manly at the 30. Val is not a half, man. Out to Waddle, and Waddle is going to be 23 metres away from the line. Second tackle. Jake Simpkin to Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty, he goes it himself. He'll be 15 metres out. This could be where it just gets done 13 plus now. I think Kevin Walters is the answer, Nate. That's the only real kind of experience. Oh, look, what? 2, I think he's been held up. Jeez, it was close. Jeez, it was close. Oh, he's lost the ball, apparently. Did he really? Oh, yeah, he lost the ball. Yeah, no, it's right. They're going to challenge it again here. Andy says, thoughts on the Perth squad so far as a Rhinos fan? They signed the wrong players in Super League. I'm not impressed by Perth squad, no. And they've also got apparently big problems in the organisation too. Like apparently they're having... Yeah, he's just lost the ball. So this is going to be Dragons ball at 10. Apparently there's like an internal fight happening at Perth already as well with North Sydney. Yep, it's about to be 0-6 for the Dragons. They still have not won a game so far this season, unfortunately. 3 minutes 17 to run 90 metres, score and then score again. So 3 minutes 17 to go here. How was that unsuccessful? The other unsuccessful? Yeah, I think the Dragons have had a couple of harsh calls today, but also they've still not been good enough to win the game. Moses Sully brings it out to the 20 on first tackle. Jacob Little. Don't forget, Cowboys versus the Broncos will be starting up in 10 minutes' time. Hame Sele to the 33. You need something to go your way and fast here, Dragons. Out to Flanagan, Leilua, short ball, Val Holmes. He gets the ball offloaded. They're away here. They're away. Fianna at the 40. Be third tackle here for the Dragons. Can you score and make it a hectic last 2.5 minutes? Jacob Little. He'll go to Flanagan, then to Damien Cook. Cook, I don't know what that was. Fourth tackle now at the 40. Take the 2, Dragons. Take the 2. Jacob Little. Daniel Atkinson, Leilua at the right side to Setu 2. Setu 2 now gets the ball away from 1. He's still going to the 23. Fit tackle. This is your last chance here, Dragons. Daniel Atkinson. He'll kick this ball across, and Olakawatu gets it. That kick was absolutely horrific from Atkinson, and Olakawatu brings the ball out to the 5 on first tackle. That was absolutely horrific. Not a single Dragon was even close to where that kick was put, and also not a single Dragon really even put in an effort to try and get to that ball. No chases whatsoever. So second tackle, even Manly the 13. They just need to complete this set, and that's all she wrote. That's game. Yeah, that was game. That is definitely game. It's a perfect way to end the game for the Dragons, really. So Manly are going to win their second straight. Still not ultimately convinced in Manly, that's for sure. If they go and beat the Rabbitohs next week, I'll be a lot more convinced in them. But this hasn't been a convincing game for them. But regardless, they just needed to win it. Tom Debojevic at the 33. The double clutch on the kick, screw the chase there. Also agree with that, Lucas. Manly at the 33, and that'll be attempted charge down, but the ball will bounce up if a Tyrell Sloan will bring it to the 20, 25 to the 30, and he'll get taken down by Ben Trbojevic to the 30. You've got a minute 12, and you've got to score twice here, Dragons. Off to Moses Sully, and Sully at the 35. I got Rugby League on PS2 vibes from that kick right down the throat of Minicello. It was an awful kick, man, but also no one chasing it. And Jaden Sewer loses the ball, and that is all she wrote, folks. Oh, Dragons. 0-6. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, Dragons. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Out to Manly now at the 38. The 13 plus is now entirely possible here. Annie said, I don't think sacking Fano solves our issues. It doesn't solve the issues, but it's a way, it's a progressing way, because Shane Flanagan is not the coach for the Dragons. It's not all going to solve all the issues, but it's a good start. They kick the ball over the top. Dragons get it. Oh, he's dropped the ball, and he goes back in the in goal. That's the game. Oh, Dragons. Well, it was a great game until you fell off, Dragons, and Manly. They deserve the win. They haven't been great, Manly, but they definitely deserve the win regardless. 5 seconds to go here. 4 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. And that, my friends, is the game. Manly win 28-18. Long way to still prove to us that you're a big-time team, Manly, but you'll take the 2 points. Last week for mine was actually a better performance from Manly than this one here. But at the end of the day, Dragons, you are now in 0-6, and you are now, no matter what, going to be on last by the end of this round. It's not looking good, and you travel to the Rabbitohs next week. Unfortunately, the only team that has not won a game just yet. But guys, we're jumping off. We'll be back in about 5 minutes' time for the Broncos versus the Cowboys from Suncorp Stadium. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you in about 5 minutes' time. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya.